I know I'm full of self-doubt, and to be honest, it has never brought me down. No, 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 no. I'm really glad I'm not walking around believing my inflated ape brain has figured it out. And suddenly you realize that everything you'd ever told yourself were lies. And believe me, I can sympathize, 'cause everything I ever thought I was made me cry. Like and I'm really glad I don't take part in your big search for who you are. And I don't care that I sound arrogant, but knowing who you are is just for amateurs. And suddenly you realize, yeah, that everything you'd ever told yourself were lies. And believe me, I can sympathize. Oh, still everything you'd ever thought you were made me cry. To be honest, it made me wanna die inside. And I'm sure I did, but just a little bit. And suddenly you realize that everything you'd ever told yourself were lies. And believe me, I can sympathize, 'cause everything I ever thought I was made me cry. Yeah, and suddenly you realize that everything you'd ever told yourself were lies. And believe me, I can sympathize. Still everything you'd ever thought you were made me cry.
Hey, everybody, we are back on what is it, a Wednesday? No, it's Thursday or Friday morning. Hey, Ray, we got Ray in the background. What's up? We got Eric Pepperoni. I'm going to add you as well as Tiger Paw. So if you want to turn off your cameras, go ahead right now. Hi, Kai Bear, Janelle, sorry, not sorry. No Justice, what's up? Hey, everybody.
Hey,
Hey,
how are you?
Hi.
how's everyone? Hey,
I'm
Monty.
good.
Good.
Hey, so what do you guys think? What happened? Where is she at right now?
She's at the trap. You know it. I know it.
She had to.
Oh wait, he doesn't have a trap anymore. So where would he? She's
Where
at a
would
shack.
they be? I mean, would she drive all the way back to Montreal? Would she drive to Montreal early,
No.
go
What
back,
makes
and go back?
Well, it's possible, but what makes more sense is that she brought him to Ottawa, slash, Gatineau area, and probably put him up in a motel hotel like the last time she did. Because why isn't he on right now? Typically, he's been coming on earlier, right?
He's on the outs with Dee Dee.
Yeah. I can sense
Why do you
it.
think he is, though? Like, why do you think? Because she's been really quiet like the last 2, 3 streams.
That's why I think they're on the outs, because she's just
Mm-hmm.
been so quiet. I think she's had enough. It might be entering like a very nightmarish sort of time for her, where she's just like, I mean, if the rumors are true and she doesn't have a job, or if it's in jeopardy, or what happened
Mm-hmm.
with her mom, she just might be just about had enough, especially since FB and Natter saw each other the other day. I mean, that would have pushed her over the edge. I mean, she's human too.
Yeah.
Very true. Very true. So she may have just reached her limit when it comes
Maybe.
to the.
And she kind of seems like she's got enough stability in her life that she wouldn't really and truly risk all of it at the very end of the day. Like, I feel like she would have more of a self-preservation instinct and be like, get out before I get evicted from this condo, you know?
Right? No kidding.
Yeah. That's
He's up at 2 a.m. making all that noise like they ain't got neighbors upstairs or downstairs, wherever the hell they are.
She's probably just so suffocated and fed up. That's what I'm thinking.
I honestly think, you know, I think it could be one of multiple options with Dee Dee, but I think if she hasn't, because there's the light. There's been like rumors that you know, she's lost her job, this and that. I think if she hasn't, I think that she might now be realizing that since he is living with her, that it might be even worse on her.
Yeah.
So that might be a thing too, is she might be realizing like, what have I done, and realizing that, because it's different story, her associating with him and him actually living with her and doing the things
Huge.
that he's doing. So
It gets real fast when that happens. And the cooking mama, I agree. I think she would want him to leave, and she's just kind of maybe in a bad place right now where she can't quite get him out. He's like a barnacle.
Barnacle, I like that one.
Mhm.
He seems like the type of person that when he clings onto you, he just kind of invites himself into your life.
Mhm. An energy vampire.
Very that. Very that.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, and it can't be easy to sit there so quietly, like if you're streaming with your friend or your boyfriend or whoever it is, and he's just rambling on and on and on, and she just sits there and says nothing now.
I know.
Like I
Total
would
silent treatment.
maybe she, like, I hope she just goes out and does stuff or something when he live streams now, rather than, like, I'd hate, it's weird to think of her just sitting there silently just observing in silence this,
I could totally see her do
right? But I'd hope she'd be like off somewhere doing something, you know, with her time. But yeah, if she's sitting there watching that and just being quiet, that's so telling.
oh, there it is. I know the one video I saw, it was the one, because I don't watch his streams, but I was watching somebody watch the one where he was like, hey Grebo, where he was talking about, what's her name? I can't remember names, but the lady who he was doxing and stuff, who came in the chat.
Kelly Denny.
Yes,
Kelly.
there we go. Thank you. And it was real awkward. Like, I think that was the first stream where she was like, I'm not gonna be reading chat or anything, and she was just kind of like sitting next to him, like so quiet, like you could see her eating, and just like, to me, like just like him talking and her just sitting there so quiet and just like eating, not even doing anything, was like so awkward.
Are we talking about Dee Dee?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I kind of heard what you guys were saying, how it is you get all busy trying to get in here and then you can't hear anything. You're like, oh no, what are they
Mhm.
talking about? I think, you know what? She seems like, regardless of what everybody thinks about her, think about it. Chantal probably calls 5,000 times a day. Her mother has been doxxed, so you know that the nurses, the administrators, her mother is getting harassed. Her work, her boss, her co-workers are being harassed. The heads of the condo or townhouse union, you know what I mean? Like, and then you've got McStabby up all night doing his high as all balls, and burning stuff, and the alarms are going off. And at some point, how, we've all been in that relationship where all of a sudden it's 3 a.m., the neighbors have just screamed at you, your landlord's throwing you out, your boss is going to fire you, and your mother says, fuck you, you're disinherited. You think, maybe I need to change a few things in my life. Sorry, Monty, I didn't mean to drop the F-bomb, but
It's all
One
it's
good.
like, yeah.
100%.
So and the other day, I really think, for me, I think the coup de grace, she was sitting there trying to have her lunch, and he was panning around, and he panned over the top of her head when the wind was blowing the wrong way. And in that live stream, she's bald on top. And I really think since then, we've not heard like nothing. So
Oh,
I think that might have been the straw that broke the camel's back, because I'll tell you what, within
I didn't even
15
see that.
minutes, that stream was down, and it just, yeah, it just, and I'm not a ride or die for Dee Dee, but
Yeah.
I think,
I don't think
she's,
anyone really is.
yeah, it's just, she's managed to keep a job for 20 years. So on some level,
She's
she's
got
even
some,
if she's, yeah,
yeah,
she's
able
she
to
can,
function. I mean, she has a
exactly.
functioning life, and
Mhm.
and she takes good enough care of herself, and she has a nice place to live, and she's maintained a job. That means you maintain relationships and fulfill commitments and have responsibilities, all of that. So it's,
Yep. And Chantal role playing her on OnlyFans. I mean, at some level, anybody with any self-respect would just be like, it's not worth it. You do one of these, and you're like, no.
she might just be in a really bad place at this point,
Yeah.
just wanting this to be done. She doesn't need the money of YouTube. She has a good job. She probably has a good pension. She doesn't need this. Maybe, I don't know. If I was her at this point, I'd be like, you got
Does
it.
she have a good job though? Because word on the street is that she's currently out of work.
Well, if she's not out of work, I think she had or presently still has a good job. But I think it was consistent. It was over 20 years she's had this job.
Mhm.
But I don't know if she still has it or not. I have no idea.
I really think, I honest to God believe, if Dee Dee had lost her job, Chantal would know about it, and she would. I just really think she
Would
would,
say
because
something. Yeah.
she
Yeah.
hates Dee Dee regardless of what she says. And Chantal, I want to say, Chantal's the one that kind of keeps stoking that fire low key. And I don't know. It just seems to me like, and maybe I'm wrong, but there are so many trolls after Dee Dee and after every aspect. I really think they would have found that out somehow. Or I could be wrong, but so if she did lose her job, then they've somehow kept it from Chantal, and they somehow kept it from the trolls that are hunting her. But you never know. Think about it. If you're getting 30, 40, 50 calls a day from trolls, your boss is going to call you in and be like, look, I don't know what's going on. Fix it. Make it stop.
Yeah. Yeah, that could jeopardize anyone's
Yeah.
job.
And where her
Exactly.
mother lives, they might have threatened her mother, like, look, if this doesn't change, we're going to have to find different arrangements because we don't have the staff to answer the phone 20. This is
That's
just
I
worst
don't like
case
when
terrible.
people
scenario.
take things real life. Like, it's the
Yeah.
internet, people. Don't take
Yeah.
it real life.
Mm-hmm.
Grebo, Bunny Melon B wanted a recap, but first let me see what Uncle Gems Nancy P wants to say. Dee Dee bit off more than she could chew. I think she thought it was fun at first, and now it's turned dark.
I think
Yeah,
so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
yeah. Thank you,
It
Nancy P.
was attention. I'm getting attention. People are paying attention. He's my friend. I'm helping him. But I think, yeah, it got to the point where it's like, nah, you ain't that kind of friend, buddy. So, and I just really think, regardless of what Dee Dee does in her own bedroom, to have it dragged out on a public forum like that, to have somebody like Chantal put it onto an OnlyFans and parody you and natter up all night, and
The lack
little
of
much.
sleep would just be enough
Mm-hmm.
to push a healthy person over the edge. That not having good sleep will push you over the edge. And then you add to that the alcohol, the drugs, the tobacco, the the chaos, the
Chantal?
drama, the toxicity, Chantal, the social media, like
Yeah.
you would like, wow,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
that's got to be something else.
Can
I don't
you
know. It's
imagine?
probably turned dark indeed
Yeah, well, can you
for
imagine
her.
Chantal calling just repeatedly and just all her, her few really hard VI idiots? It would be, yeah,
Awful. It would be awful
yeah.
and humiliating.
Mm-hmm.
Humiliating if you didn't know what you were getting into, and then all of a sudden, like, your great aunt twice removed knows something about you and is getting a phone call from some weird person online. Like, that would just be mortifying.
I
Hey,
agree.
Monty, you got someone wanting to join the panel, Curl Connections.
All right, Ed just sent out the link. Greg, about that recap. Were you around for today or?
Was it the one where she showed back up at 8 o'clock at night? I caught part of it.
Yeah,
I was,
the first
yeah,
one was the coffee, bad audio, bad
yeah.
video. She said she was gonna come back. She said she wanted to go on the long road, but she
And she,
didn't. She said, "Okay, I'm gonna come back." She never came
mhm,
back. 8.5 hours later, she's back for
yep,
dinner time. But
yeah.
between that, Nader shows up strangely at Orange Julep.
Side eye
Where
in the window constantly. He is looking
yes,
for somebody.
exactly, yeah, to show up, right?
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
then all
Yep.
of a sudden, he just magically immediately gets off stream as if somebody is there waiting for him.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he didn't stream pretty much all day from that. Chantal didn't stream,
Yeah,
and then we hear nothing from Chantal, and then she shows up at like 8 whatever at night. And like I said, I had a D&D game tonight, but knowing me, I was literally kind of streaming it on the side. It was boring. We we weren't fighting dragons, so I was like, yeah, whatever, knock yourselves out, guys. But she had on that dress, that teal with the white pattern dress that her mom got her, that she wore every single day in Cuba, and we know she didn't wash it, so imagine the aroma. And I have to say, she was in full on peppy, hey, I want to do stuff deflection mode. Like, just, you know what I mean? She was so amped up and just, chatting, and she was so full of life, and I'm going to do this. And it's like, oh, she 1,000% spent the day with Natty. Like, there's just that's the recap. Regardless of what fell out of her mouth, she was deflecting. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. I'm going to the East Coast Bees. But I will say, she did bring up money again. I'm going to save money for April and May for my June bees. I'm going to save money. Like, she brought up money a few times. So once again, we're back to, remember, everybody that's up here, we're back to that. She is low on funds. And I don't think it's just a payday thing. You know what I mean, on the 22nd. I think it's bigger than that. Does anybody else think so?
I mean, if the CRA is I don't know. It just depends.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Now, I
There's
think
something
I
happening.
is
yeah,
there
I
something
think we
happening?
would
Good point. Good
I
point.
think we would hear if it was the CRA. I think she would completely lose her crackers, because Buddha's made it really clear. Buddha's laid out what they do. You will go to get into your bank and everything will be locked down, and Jim or Bob or whomever will call and leave you a message and say, you will call me back. We're going to talk. And until you do that, you don't have access to anything. And then he will lay out things that I need you to do before I unlock your account. So I think she would flip out just like completely big time. I think what we're seeing, my opinion, is this isn't that kind of freak out. I think she is feeling herself. She is Icarus, except for I call her Icarus.
Mm-hmm.
Got too close to the sun. Her
Yeah.
hubris is going, her hubris is going to take her down, and she's spending like this. I went to Cuba. I spent all this money, and I don't think the income she has matches up to the outgoing. And I think the credit card, because she keeps bringing up, oh, I'm not good with credit, and I'm not going to take the credit card, and money, and she keeps talking about money and these tears. So I think she's painting herself in a corner, because she's not making $12,000 a month, and then on top of that, she's got to have an inkling of an idea that eventually the CRA is going to come for her. I don't know.
Well, that's going to be that's going to be the straw that breaks the camel's back for sure. Because that will be relentless and aggressive and painful and shocking, and especially if they go in and they start to garnish from her account.
And manipulation will not get you out of. You can
Yeah.
cry, you can beg, you can I'm an addict. I'm
Yeah.
disabled. You can say whatever you want.
I'm in
They
love.
do
I don't
not
know what's
care.
wrong. Yeah. Like,
Yeah. I'm a DV survivor. You can be whatever you want, but you're all those things and somebody that owes taxes, and you
Yeah.
can't touch your money until you call Bob or John or Buddha's
Yeah.
in here. Yeah, Buddha could explain it again.
Somebody's saying the pillowcases in that picture are white. She's definitely at a hotel. When was the OnlyFans photo posted?
They're saying today that there was a new photo posted
Okay.
today.
All right, I'm gonna try and find it.
Is it Drea down there?
Oh, okay, I see it now with her
Hi.
boobs out. Okay, gotcha.
Oh God. Is it
And
a
yeah,
boob
those
photo?
are those are white pillowcases, as if, and that's the top that she was wearing, but it's a different bra. The bra that she had on
you're so funny, Monty.
was orange, was like
Monty, do you
that
have a
burnt
box
orange,
of Kleenex like Natter had, so you can cover the boobs with the box of Kleenex, but
and then
show us
show it.
everything else?
It's actually on the
Hand
farms.
check.
I'm
Hand
more
check,
Oh, okay,
Monty.
curious
Last page on
as
the farms.
Hand check.
Okay.
Yeah, in a reply.
Hand
Yeah,
check,
I'll
Monty.
just post it.
well,
Yeah,
I'm more
do it.
curious as to how you know the bra was
Oh,
different. Like, were you paying that much close attention
Yes,
that you
I
knew the bra
do.
was different?
Yes.
You're so funny. That's so funny.
But yeah.
Well, she's back there.
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear
Hey,
me?
Adria?
Can you hear me?
Oh,
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, I just came up here to say, first and foremost, Ray Ray, you're in my prayers. I think you're a wonderful person. I have subscribed to your channel, and don't let anyone
oh,
say anything bad about you. You are absolutely fabulous. To all the rest of you guys that are on the panel, I really love you guys. You guys do some awesome work. And Monty, you are like the GOAT, right? Like, for real, like I'm like fans at this point. And as far as Natter, what is keeping him up all night?
You mean like
I
what?
want to know what he's taking that keeps him up all night.
I have no idea, but it seems like, as Foodie Beauty said, right? He keeps getting up every 2 hours. It's like he can never have like a full straight 8 hours of sleep.
Well, from other people that I've known and seen, I don't want to say specifically what's been taken, but I know a few things that can keep you up all night. If you understand what I mean, because we all know his past,
Yeah, I get you.
and we know Chantel's past. And if you haven't noticed today, she was jumpy and fearful, and not like a person that has COVID at all. Because I've had COVID, and I had no energy at all. And she is just like on top of the world. So,
Very bubbly.
so is the Candyman involved in this situation?
I think it's snowing in Canada.
Right.
Very bubbly.
damn.
Quite chipper.
And
Yeah.
Buddha bitch, I just love your realness, girl. I just love your realness, girl. Oh my goodness. I just love everything about how you tell it like it is and keep telling it like it is, girl.
Buddha's
Thank you
the
so
best.
much. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah.
we can hear you.
I just wanted to say real quick, thank you so much, Drea. Is that how you pronounce it?
It's Drea.
Drea. Yeah, thank you so much. Everything you said really, it means a lot to me. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome, babe. I look. And your cat is the cutest. Cat is the cutest. I love animals. Yeah, I have a
No.
German Shepherd, and he's my baby, baby, baby. So I understand how your cat is to you.
All right, thank you,
Did
Drea,
you?
for that. Appreciate you. Buddha, when did you change
We
your hair
love you,
color?
Drea.
Yeah, your
We love,
hair's a
I love
different
you guys
color.
too. I just wanted to say that I'm gonna drop down so someone else. Love you guys. Have a
Okay. Bye
night.
bye, Drea.
Thanks, Drea.
Bye.
Did you ask me when I changed my hair color, Monty?
Yeah.
I think like 5 days ago. I used to be a
Yes.
hairdresser for 17 years, so I got bored and just mixed up some bleach, and I just thought my hair is not matching my sauce level, and I've been really saucy lately, so I needed to step up the ginger part of me.
I love that shade of red.
Yeah.
It's so pretty.
Spicy
Great.
Buddha.
Blood. It's
Haven't you
blood
been on
red.
once since you did it?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes,
have,
yes,
but
yes.
it's all about the lighting with me.
Mhm.
It's all about whether I'm in front of the big window that I sit in front of. I'm not a filter girl, but I love an open window.
Hmm.
So anyway, I'm happy to be here today. I'm having a day today. Today is actually the anniversary of the day my mom passed away, and
Aw.
no, mental health, man. That's what got her. It got her because
Oh.
she didn't take care of herself, and she didn't address any of her issues. She didn't unpack any of her feelings. She didn't attend to
Mhm.
any of her needs. She did the martyr till the end, and it did no one any good. And so it's important to work on your stuff
Mhm.
and own it. You got to own it. And I'm glad I'm here because I love being here because such smart people are in this community, in this channel. And it's just nice to talk to people who speak sense and not nonsense.
Well, we're glad you're here with us today, Buddha.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. It's so important that people like that we all just take care of ourselves. If you don't take care of yourself, then you have nothing to give to anybody else.
You can't pour from an empty cup. You can't.
No.
It's as simple. It's an act of kindness to take care of yourself because I tell you now, at 43, I have a lot of shame about the way I treated people for a long time. And I mean, I'm adorable now, but I was that psycho ex-girlfriend type, the take a swing at your boyfriend when you're drunk type, start a fight with everyone who sees you type, everyone's to blame. I was very Amber Lynn and Chantel put together. And I'm just trying to undo some of that garbage. You know what I mean? Like when you don't own
Mhm.
it, you just
Yeah.
I
destroy
think we
everyone
all
who comes
go
in
through
contact with
that.
you.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
get it.
Yeah.
I get it. I definitely get
I
that.
was there myself.
Hmm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
Some very poor decision making has happened, for I think a lot of us. So
Oh yeah.
yeah. But the whole point of it is improving, like you were talking about, and working on things and getting better, and that's that's all that most people should really strive for. And it's sad to see somebody who just refuses to rise to any occasion, to any bar, to any level. Like, it's just a really depressing but also fascinating thing to watch, you know? I
Wasted potential.
I
She
just
makes
don't
me
know how much
sad.
lower people can go. Yeah, like I don't know. I don't know why. I don't know why I watch it. I don't know why. I don't have no idea. But here I am.
I know why I watch it because it's motivation for me when I feel like being the worst version of myself or just even do the minimal work. I'm like, that's a slippery slope. I
Hmm.
need to give 110% today and do my best so tomorrow I can get up and be a little bit further, or at least where I started,
Yes. Yeah.
yesterday.
Yeah.
And just so everybody knows, Chantal's post, like she was sure to tell us she's at home, guys. It clearly says, oh, good God, sorry. I can't, sorry, I can't show you that. But no, it clearly, on her post, she made it a point to let us know she's home. So she's home, guys, because she's told us she's at home. with the white pillowcases that she doesn't own. Yeah.
Maybe she did take a page into my book. Maybe she was at Ruby Foo's. It's just literally across the
I
street.
think you're right, Monty.
Yeah.
I think she just went home and then she just showed back up there and they went across the street.
Yeah.
Unless she just bought pillowcases today or something. Those are definitely not her pillowcases. And they're definitely too white to be hers. So.
Well, she has
Anytime
said she's
Chantal,
not.
oh, sorry,
Go ahead. No.
Anytime Chantal appears with clean linen,
yeah, she's not.
I question it.
Yeah, she's elsewhere.
Well, she just took the Dee photos. How long? And she's not done any laundry, because so it's like the chances of that dirty blue sheet making it from the bed and white linens. And she even said she's too embarrassed to have anybody over to her house. Like she's said this repeatedly. Oh, I need to get it cleaned first. So there's no way. And if she had bought new linens, she's commented before that white's boring. And if she had bought new linens, she would have been like, hey guys, look what I got.
Very true.
So,
very true.
yeah.
She loves to show off whatever she purchases, no matter what. Yeah. Toothpaste included.
She is not a white linen girl. She is a cheetah print all day, every day. Or Playboy bunny satin sheets. Mm-hmm.
I could see that because she's a teenager, or at least in her mind.
Whatever they're selling at Hot Topic right now.
Huge Arrested Development there.
Yeah, Chantal, 1996 called and they want their teenage angst back.
No kidding.
Well, I guess she stopped. Isn't that what they say though for anyone that goes through any kind of like an addiction or I'm not professional, so but at that age where you might pick up that habit or you fall prey to addiction or whatever it might be is sort of where you stop developing mentally age-wise. So you're still stuck back at that age you were when you picked you started all that. And sounds like from the sounds of it she's been off the rails all through her teenage years and beyond. So who knows?
Well, her mom had her, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, didn't her mom have her institutionalized when she was about 15?
I think she was
in a
removed. Home.
Yeah. She was removed from the group home and she even admitted because she was jealous and she was bullying her toddler sister to the point where her mother did not know what to do and felt that the child wasn't safe anymore. Like the bullying was that bad. And Chantal in a removed video said that. And so she was in a group home, and then she didn't like it there. And I cannot remember because it's so much, but I think she may have manipulated her grandmother or somebody to help her get out of there eventually. Like I said, I have to think, but yeah, so it wasn't institutionalized per se. It was mom was at her wits end, and I think maybe they tried to scare straight. Fine, go hang out with the bad girls. And now Chantal thinks she's a bad girl. She's about as street as
But what kind of things could you possibly be doing to your younger baby sister that are so bad that you're a danger to your younger sibling, and you have to be removed from the home? Like
I wouldn't even want to imagine it, Tiger Paw, because she was 11, right? When when her sister was born?
11 and a half or something like that. So she would, when she was 15, the kid would have been like 3 and a half.
Was she pinching her? Was she like just verbally accosting her?
Look how she treats people. Look how she treats people that anger her. She completely loses her crackers and gets extremely verbally abusive. You know what I mean? And I don't think that's new. This is a very refined thing that we're seeing. Like her anger just takes over. And I think she screams and yells. And can you imagine being a 3.5-year-old and being screamed at like that and having things yarded out of your hands and her screaming at her mom and slamming doors? And maybe there was physical abuse. I don't know. All I know is Chantal said she was extremely jealous that she had, what she said, she had only child syndrome. So I can guarantee it was verbal abuse.
Well,
at a
a
minimum.
lot of
is
people
that
have only
Emotional.
child syndrome, but like they
Yeah.
adjust,
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
I
one
think
second?
it was serious.
I'm looking at the chat. Lauren G, is that true or is that just
Yeah, I saw that too, but I'm not sure if
What
because
what
if
what
that's
was
true,
it?
that's pretty perturbing.
said that she
What
put her sister in the dryer.
she did. I remember that she said something like that, and then she laughed and said, "But it wasn't plugged in."
Oh, I think I remember that.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I
It's
think
Thank you.
still though.
Thank you. Yeah,
That's
thank you,
Still.
Lauren. Can you
terrible.
imagine being a mother and walking in and seeing your toddler in the dryer with, you know what? I might have well yanked the cord out and just strangled the teenager, to defend the toddler. I would have been so angry. It's like, oh my God.
Oh, that's
It,
traumatizing. You
yeah,
would
it's
have
terrible.
claustrophobia big time if that's
Yeah.
terrible. That's
She
terrible.
probably put that baby through a lot, and that's
Oh my
unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
It's
God.
unfortunate
Yeah.
because
Yeah, so true.
Mm-hmm.
She used to
Yeah.
take her sister's desserts. Better that than being popped in a dryer. Like,
right?
even that's not nice.
But can you
Oh,
imagine being given a treat and the second your mom walks away, your older sister takes it and says, "If you say anything," I mean, it just the emotional
yeah.
and the mental
The
trauma of
torture.
it.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
torture of it.
yeah. And
Yeah.
let's say Chantal never actually physically abused the kid. But can you imagine being a toddler thrown in the dryer? The absolute terror. You would hurt yourself trying to get out. You know what I mean? Trying to get out that door, probably.
I
Well,
couldn't
Hawaiian
imagine.
girl, you say you've been locked in a dryer by your older sibling. OMFG. Like, that's awful. That's so bad.
Well, I have to say that I've got like 10 brothers and sisters, and so like it can get pretty intense, but if you weren't
Oh.
bleeding, it wasn't a foul, but you know what I mean? It was just siblings being siblings, but yeah, I've been
No,
stuffed in a dryer, but there's a difference between your 4 year older than you brother stuffing you in a dryer and you're fighting out versus you're 15 and you take a 3-year-old and chuck them in the
And
dryer
close the
and
door of the
yeah,
dryer. Just
yeah.
no. Look, I'm sorry. I think she got enjoyment out of torturing that toddler.
Hmm.
that's sick.
I agree. She laughed.
Seeing how she is now,
Yeah,
yeah.
she laughed. I remember that now when she said, "Oh, yeah, I threw in a dryer," but then she laughed. It wasn't plugged in. Like literally, can you imagine flippantly saying that about a toddler? Oy.
And
That infuriates me because I have toddlers and I'm just sitting here like,
and if she had gotten, just think about it. At that point, if she had gotten like like true help, not just thrown in a group home and then somebody went and bailed her out or whatever. But if she had gotten true help at that time, I mean, you never know. There's a possibility that she may, be a different person today because, at that time that's you kind of, you're developing and, I maybe if she had actually, gotten real help, she might be a different Chantal today. You never
Yeah,
know.
but you have to want help. I
Well, yeah.
Can I
suspect
say
Chantal.
something about that?
Yeah, yes, please do.
Yeah. Oh, no, no, no. I was just agreeing with you. I was going to say the one thing about if Chantal has, say, borderline personality disorder like what I have, I do not have narcissist traits. So what I hear, but if she has those as well. But the thing is with borderline personality disorder, you could be at the top of the waiting list. There's like a 2-year waiting list for a DBT program. You could be at the top and not even have the waiting list. You could have the best seat in the room. You could have a schedule that completely accommodates the schedule that goes with that kind of therapy, sometimes 3 days a week. And she could have all the books on her shelf. She could have all the support around her and all the skills in the world at her fingertips. But if she doesn't want to do them, you know what I mean? Like I have, after all this time of watching Chantal now, there's one thing that I've noticed that she's missing that a lot of borderlines that I've seen that actually get help and do well with it. She's lacking something that they have, and that's shame. The thing is with borderline recovery is that at some point you got to own your shit first. Oh, sorry. You got to own your stuff first. And then all of a sudden the flood of shame comes in and you're like, am I a horrible person? And then you're like, now I've accepted it. I understand it. Now I'm going to own it and work it. But the thing is, she has no shame. No shame at all. Even if she knows she's wrong, she's like, cares? And that nothing will help you. What's the word for that? Because it's not
I was just
borderline,
gonna
that
say,
trait.
what is the clinical word for that when you have no shame? Like,
Right.
you're right. She doesn't. She seems to get off on shaming herself, in fact.
I'm a firm believer that
Right.
some people are just born that way. I mean, you think about all the things that can happen while you're developing in the room. I just really think there's some people that are just fundamentally not capable of achieving certain things. Like, I will never be 6 feet tall. It's just the way it is. I think some people are just born lacking the capacity. Some people just cannot really feel the empathy, or and I'm not going to go so far as to call her a psychopath or something, but I'm just saying that she's just always the way, even when she talks about it, she'll say something and then it's almost like she remembers after the fact, oh, I should feel bad about that. And she used to at least kind of fake it, and I don't know, I'm just spitballing.
Yeah,
I don't know. I would say I would go further than you, and I would say that there are people who are truly born just plain out inherently evil.
Yep. That right there. I was trying to be nice. Nah, what you said.
Oh,
1000%.
yeah.
Yeah.
But if we
Here's
just
what
talk
I don't
about,
like about this woman. Oh, sorry.
oh no, that's okay. No, I was just going to say, like, if we were just to talk about this shame, lack of shame, humiliation fetish thing. Okay, if some people are born like that, that's one thing, but then she has such an ego. So sometimes someone will say something to her that she will find offensive or triggering, and it will set her off completely. So it's not like she has no shame or no ability to like not feel like defensive or embarrassed or angry, or you know what I mean? So it's weird.
Well, or it could be something, and I'm gonna throw on my little psychology hat. Maybe it's borderline personality with histrionic and narcissistic tendencies. I mean, there's so many nuances where you get the narcissistic tendencies and the histrionic tendencies, and it's all but they have scientific studies showing that there are some people that truly just, and like I said, like true psychopaths that just cannot. They're just something. And there's even a study came out recently. Here, let me be a dork for a minute and go back into, like, I spent a lot of time in school, 10 years. So, but they've come out recently and they found out that maybe this psychopathic tendency, these things we see in CEOs and stuff like that, actually might, this incredible selfishness to the nth degree. They're thinking it might actually be an adaptive strategy that in times of stress, when resources are limited, that would give you an advantage, because all we are is big ugly bags of mostly water trying to get our DNA into the next generation, if you just want to break it down to a biological level. So if you think about it, these things crop up independently, but occasionally circumstances allow for that thing that may not be that common to be what gets the most genes in the next generation. That's just a theory that's been, okay, sorry, I completely went off dork alley there, but I'm just saying, I just read something and I found it incredibly interesting that they're thinking it might be an adaptive strategy, because everybody says humans we're group animals, and we live together and all this stuff and communal, and there's an argument that, like, most of us are, but maybe some of us have the ability to completely only need others when it suits us, and that is it.
Also,
So
beta.
I guess, yeah.
Oh. Alpha betas.
Well, I was just. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I definitely see, what's the word for it now? Somebody put it in there. Yeah, antisocial personality, which now in adults they call it that, and in children's they still, refer to it as like being a sociopath. She definitely has those tendencies, and I feel like that's definitely a part of, well, I can't say definitely, but I feel like that's a part of her, that's from somebody who has spent a lot of time studying these kind of things, because she just there's so many qualities, I guess you could say, that she has that really adds up. Her, all the things, her lack of empathy, the whole embarrassment the other day. She does, I guess, show love, if that's what you want to call it, with like Natter and them, but is that really love, or is that her version of love? And there's a difference between true love and what people would, their idea of love is, especially when you have that kind of, disorder. So I definitely feel like she has those tendencies.
Mm-hmm.
It's like she's
Here's something.
obsessed with Natter, and she keeps calling it love.
She really wants to win.
Yes.
She really
That
wants
part.
to win.
That part.
Go ahead, Buddha.
Here's something that came to me today that I know she's been doing, but really got under my skin today, only because I directly related it to stuff that my mother used to do, because I have a very similar person in my life. And I tell you, the one thing about Chantel is that she expects a lot of, no, let me take that word back. She demands a lot of understanding from us. She is like, you are bad people for not giving me the benefit of the doubt, not blah, 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 blah. And the fact that she plays with hope the way she does really gets to me. And I'm not my sassy Buddha bitch today, because the fact that she still has followers that support her since Cuba shows that there are people who really do care for her. And she dangles this hope carrot in front of their face all the time with no intention of follow through. It's not a change my mind moment. It is I'm going to give these people tiny shreds of hope, because people, myself definitely included, because when I feel a hatred toward Chantel, or I feel like this person is not redeemable, I feel like a bad person. I'm like, as a Buddhist, I'm like, how can I call myself a Buddhist when I think this person is no redeeming qualities? So I'm like fighting to believe so that I'm not a person who wrote another person off. And she, I feel, just pulls at those heartstrings. And when you give people hope, it is so cruel to do that to people. My mom used to give me hope, these mental health scares. Oh my God, I'm going to go to the hospital. I'm going to do this. I'm going to make everyone worry and wring their hands and clutch their pearls. And when I have a good day, everyone's going to sing to the gods. And to me, that is so cruel to play with people like that. And so lately, I have just been writing her off in my mind and trying to deal with how I feel about myself. Because I don't know if this, maybe I just, sometimes I really don't think there's anything about her that's redeemable in any way. I'm sorry.
She said it when in her Cuba rage. I will say and do whatever I want, and then I will manipulate you. And she made it very clear. So you're not a terrible person, because you're average human being, and I don't consider myself a kind person. In fact, I'm kind of a dick. But I, in general, can empathize. But Chantal, like, I got -4 for her, because it's just a game. And the thing is for the people that have empathy, you're right. She keeps throwing those little carrots out there, and she makes you feel bad about you, because you gave up hope on another human. What does that say about you? And she knows it. That's, she thinks she's playing 3D chess, but really, nah.
Such a manipulator.
Can I do a little back? Oh, hi.
I just wanted to say I'm here. No, I just felt weird just sitting here not saying hi.
No,
but sorry, go on.
Sorry.
I don't want to interrupt. I just wanted to say hi.
Yeah. I didn't mean to interrupt you either, Buddha. So go ahead. I just wanted you to know, you're not bad, because you cannot, even as a Buddhist, I think that the Dalai Lama himself will come sit down and be like, girl, you get a pass.
I think that he would find her funny. I think about that all the time. Like, what would, His Holiness say about her? Like, how would I think about that? Like, when I think, how do I want to respond? And I think that he would. Actually, I can't speak for him in any way, shape, or form, but I would hope that he would try to find the light But man, she makes it so hard to. It's like a long tunnel with a tiny pinprick at the end, and you just got to strain your eyes real hard to see that little
Buddha,
light. And sometimes you wonder, is it worth looking for?
you have to
Sorry.
remember sometimes it's okay to be love and light, but it's also okay to be a little F off, because some people just need to hear that. You know what I mean?
I've been
call it
people
tough
telling people to
love,
F off my
you
whole
know.
life, though.
Well, we need to
But
be careful too, because if you self-identify too much, that is what she's counting on. And she gets very far by people relating to things they might recognize within her. Maybe it's not a food issue, maybe it's whatever it is, whatever the person's drawn into. But I think it's better to separate, treat it more like a reality show, which is easier said than done. I get that. But definitely separate, okay? Because a lot of people identify with her. And this is what twisted people like this do. They rely on that to connect. Because when someone has these traits, not a professional, not diagnosing, but when someone is showing traits that are kind of within the, spectrum of disordered kind of behavior, they rely on that connection to continue what they do to you, basically. To continue, they need that tie. So if you are keeping that, you're not doing it consciously, it's consciously, it's subconscious. But when you feel connected, that's when she keeps that tie between. And she uses that, like you were saying, we know she manipulates, we know, but she has been saying it more openly, more and more and more out loud in plain words. She used to disguise it a little more. And I've noticed lately, since with the channel termination, for sure, she's been emboldened to just say. Before, she would say a little thing like, oh, you'll be replaced, was the first sign of it. But she's been using more and more aggressive language because it's been working. And people do come back. We do say she has a high turnover rate, but I do see people coming back. And she knows they do. And she'll continue to manipulate them in this parasocial dynamic. It's very strange, but she banks on it literally. Mm-hmm. She makes money off of people's feelings, emotions. I have no feelings toward her beside the fact that watching her makes me feel bad for those without, because she's exactly the example of what's wrong with society, how people like her have money, and there are people that are homeless in the street right now because of the pandemic, and she's going and spreading this everywhere when she's ill or claiming she's ill. But I don't relate to her. Whatever happens, happens. At this point, I feel nothing toward her. I watch for morbid curiosity. And I watch to hopefully help people that I know that watch that do feel some kind of way that they relate, because I try to pull them out of that to help them be more objective, to help them not feel anything, because I think it helps in a way to not attach to her story.
If you don't attach, you'll be much better off, for sure.
And it's easier said than done. I mean, it's a process.
Yeah.
I used to watch in a different perspective. Mm-hmm. Sorry, go ahead.
That's so sorry. True. Can I say something real quick? And maybe it's a little out there. I firmly believe, now I'm not diagnosing, because I don't believe in diagnosing anyone. We don't know enough from behind the scenes, And plus, personally, for me, I have severe anxiety and panic disorder. So I don't want people to think that everyone like Chantal, who has because she has claimed to have anxiety in the past. I don't want people to see that and think, well, this must be how everyone with anxiety is. No, I don't want her to define anyone with any mental health. You know what I mean? She is not the definition of it. That being said,
or depression too, as well.
Thank you. What I think my personal opinion, because the way she talks, if you look at it, it's very I looked this up on Google. so I'm going
It's
to play
Google
this role
speak.
now,
It's Google speak.
right? It's very like bullet point. You can almost go and look up
Mhm.
a certain disorder, and it's almost like she was studying it the night before and
Mhm.
said, well, tomorrow I'm going to come on panel and say I have this
Mhm.
so that I can get everyone to
Mhm.
feel sorry for
Mhm.
me and
Mhm.
forget what I did the other day. And that's
Mhm.
upsetting, and in my opinion, highly offensive to the mental health community.
Mhm.
I'm off
Oh,
my soapbox.
No, I
well,
like
no,
that.
but
That's
she
really
does
true.
that to the mental health community, and then
Is
she's like, "Oh, and I'm a drug addict," and she's trying to crawl into that. I'm like, "Cupcake, come on into that community. See how well you fare with that group. Trust me." And
Mm-hmm.
so, and and then the eating disorder, and she just keeps bouncing around because she doesn't
thanks,
want to put
Monty.
in the work, and so she
Mhm.
keeps bouncing around between these different communities. But to give everybody a bit of hope, and Monty, you can maybe back me up on this. If you look, her views are not as good. She is not getting, I mean, she is getting tenfold less super chats. She talks about money and her platform and memberships and what she's going to do continually. I am low on funds. Oh, I'm
Mhm.
missing out on money on Amazon. So like I said, she can talk all she wants, and she will always have that die-hard, people that connect and relate and they love her.
Mhm.
And there'll always be those few people that drop in and think, I have hope, but if they are of even average intelligence, if they don't drink the Kool-Aid, they very quickly go, what the hell am I doing, and flip over.
Mm.
But Monty's the numbers guy. But if you analyze the numbers and the money, if it keeps trending the way it is, she cannot keep living the lifestyle she's living. She cannot keep spending the money the way she's spending money. I truly believe this, and then you add the CRA thing, which Buddha can speak about. It sucks. And I don't think this kind of behavior should be monetized, but hopefully everybody
Mm-hmm.
understands. Keep watching and view this as a stranger on the internet to motivate you to be the best version ever, and don't lose
Mhm.
hope,
Exactly.
because karma, I think, like Buddha has said, Chantal is not only living her karma,
She's
but
living
the
it, yeah.
universe, yeah, but like the three fates, Clothos, Lachesis, and Atropos, they're coming for her, man.
I am
It's gonna
concerned though,
happen.
but what worries me is who here has been supposedly broke and right away booked a trip to Cuba. That made me doubt a lot of what she says financially. Yes, we
Oh,
do have
heck
the
yeah.
numbers. We do. But now I don't believe that she's some financial genius and takes care of things and saves a ton of money. But do I believe it's possible that there's something we don't know?
Puppy. I'm sorry,
Oh,
puppy.
oh yes, the
Puppy.
puppy's adorable.
This is
But that
sorry.
just made me question it. I would never say
Can
I'm
I
broke and then I can book a trip, even if it's an all inclusive, even if, I don't see that. Regular
Can I
people
ask
don't
a
see that.
question about her taxes? What has she been saying about? Because I am actually in the process of exactly what she would need to do
Yeah.
with her taxes. So, what has she said that she's done about her taxes? Is she saying like, "Oh, I set up some kind of payment plan type deal"?
No.
Because I can definitely
She,
shed light on
She
whether or
said
not
she's
that's actual.
handling it one time.
yeah,
She said,
yeah,
I got a guy, I'm handling it. That was the extent of
yeah,
it, but I didn't believe the
yeah.
tone she was
And
using.
she keeps saying like, oh yeah, I need to deal with that, I need to deal with that, but she keeps talking about she's low on funds, I need to get more members. I think I can guarantee she watched that stream, Buddha. I can guarantee you she watched that stream where you explained exactly what was going to happen, because I have noticed, call me crazy, let me put on my tinfoil hat, but since that stream, it's been constant money talk, her super chats. Like I said, I really think the dominoes are lining up for her. She's heard what you said, Buddha. I
Oh, you
believe
put the
this.
fear
And
in her.
yeah, and she's thinking
Well,
about it.
there's
And
only a few
and
options
it's,
that are going to happen there.
yeah,
If she got a
yeah,
call
they're
from
gonna
a
shut
guy,
it down.
if there's a guy with a name, a first name and a last name, and you know his name, and he's calling you from the CRA, that means there's a file open on you. That means there is a button and there's a finger hovering over the finger, whether or not your account gets locked down. And he's going to say one thing: this is what you owe, all together, not year, all together. You can make 12 payments And this is how much each payment is if you're going to take this one big debt and make it 12 payments. And if you can't pay it all like that in 12 full ass payments, no matter how big it is, then you have to get a payment plan. And they've revamped the payment plan thing in the last 6 months, actually. So you have to get this and that, and you have to prove all your assets, and you have to get all this, and you have to go to the bank, and you have to get the loan thing, and you have to cry in the parking lot. And it's a whole thing. And she's not like, oh, I got a call from, she's not like, I just got a call from this guy and like, oh, I'm making payments now. No. They don't just be like, oh, can you throw $300 on the debt? They're gonna, it's structured, man.
Buddha, what is the interest that she's gonna have? Like, talk to me about the interest, because I feel like if you can kind of afford to pay them off, the interest is what really kills you, but it's the motivator to pay it off real quick.
I don't know much about the interest, to tell you the truth. Basically, all he did was tell me what an amount was. And he said, this is the monthly payments to get it paid in 12 months. And I don't know if that included the interest, but basically you just got 12 months. And then if you can't make that payment arrangement, the only one they offer, then after that, they're going to look at your finances and say, what can I take from this tomato? And like, it's very much, they're going to squeeze you until you got about 2 seeds left. Like they will take what they need, or like if they're going to say, well, then you can afford this amount, and that will leave you with enough to eat. And then they'll take it, or they'll shut your account down. There's no option. They're going to take what they want from you.
I'm sorry.
Grebo, can you pass me your tinfoil hat?
Oh,
Got it. Thanks. Okay, so worst case scenario, what could happen to her, Buddha?
Yeah, tell us.
Well, it's not a jail thing. Basically, the worst thing that can happen to her, she'll wake up tomorrow and she can't access any of her accounts. Not only like she can't access it, meaning she can't withdraw money, but she also can't deposit money. Like if someone sent her money, she can't deposit it. No checks go in, no anything, any pre-authorized, any bill payments that come out, everything is bouncing. Like it's basically they will 100% shut your account down and all access to it, where you either get paid in cash or you pay in cash or you barter. But you're going Lord of the Flies, biatch, because you got no current, like, credit cards, debit cards, tap. No, you got nothing. You got access to nothing at all. Until they
that would
get what
suck.
they want from you.
So that means you don't have
she
any
wouldn't even
money
be able to be paid.
spent.
Yeah.
Starbucks
No access to
So-
it. Money could be in the account, and
So
they won't even
Google could
release
give
it. They'll be
her
like,
her
no, you have
money
no access
and
to
they
the
would
account.
siphon it. Would they just siphon, like, because Google's direct deposit usually, right,
They
Monty? Or
garnish
is it?
it.
So would they just siphon what's deposited before she can't get it? They'll just siphon it out and it's locked.
Well,
They
the
freeze
first
it.
thing they'll do is just shut it down. Like, they're not going to just empty
Okay,
the account. They're just going to freeze it right off the bat. So this is our account now, and we're going to do whatever we want. When they froze mine back in the day, a long time ago, I just woke up one day and it was like, boom, gone. And my rent, I was really irresponsible back then. So my rent gone. I was like going to pay my rent that day. And I was like, oh, and I got a real wake up call at like 23. What the heck is going on right now? And so, yeah, they're just going to lock it down. They lock it down until you get a hold of someone and he goes, this is what I need from you. It could be weeks. And you have to survive on, whatever
what did
you
they
got
do?
in cash.
I don't hate that for her.
Let me
No,
throw
I'd love to
this
see
in
it.
there real quick. Is whatever they do, like, I hope they lock it down, but I please, sweet 8-pound, 5-ounce baby Jesus, let her internet keep working so she can stream it.
But
So
that's
we
what I'm
can
asking. Like,
see it.
Google pays her through her bank.
Yeah, her bank.
So
And
I
they
would
would lock it.
assume they would keep, they would lock it, but they would keep that open because they know the money's going to come in. So they'll siphon that. She won't ever get it. Well, she created this.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, this is what why didn't she have a tax guy to begin with? Because, she makes enough on YouTube. She could have had a tax guy all along. Most YouTubers do.
She said she had a tax guy and she never
don't
brought him
believe her.
receipts. Yeah,
I don't believe her.
Like I said, woulda, coulda, shoulda. Here we
I mean,
are.
even every day people go to H&R Block a lot of the time. Like, if you
Yeah.
don't know how to do your taxes, it's not shameful. You just do what everyone does, and you can You know, I know people that are independent contractors, haven't been for that long, but they haven't even had trouble because yes, they go there, they have their tax person, and they learned how the process works. I mean, a lot of people do that.
This is
So,
somebody
I
who
don't
cannot
get
get
it.
the garbage bags from her porch out of the luxury villa. So, you know,
Yeah,
it's
you're right.
she's just skated by for so long and got so used to doing the minimum, like, because she talks about these things. I need to get the receipts and I need to do this, I need to do that. But a thought not followed by an action, I say this every time, means nothing happens, you know. And I've heard her say several times in the last few weeks, well, dreaming is part of the process, or making plans is part of the process. Not at this point. You're
No,
like Amber Lynn. You got notebooks full of plans everywhere. Pull one out, start fulfilling. You
But
I
know.
can
do
I just say
want to.
something? I'm not going to cuss, but I want to say it. So, FFS, get the freaking boxes out of your villa. That difficult. Do 5 a day. Do 5 a day. That could be your thing. You know, hey, I'm going to go walk out and dump these boxes out. Not that difficult.
I
Not that
do want to
difficult.
say, this is a little off topic, but I heard y'all talking on the panel, was it earlier or yesterday? It blends together. But people were talking about her upbringing, this, that, and the other. I do want to put it out there. This was not the case of a single mother raising Chantel on her own her whole life. Her stepfather came in when she was 10 years old. That is plenty enough time. I have half siblings, and it's really funny because it's almost a parallel in a way, because my dad came around about when they were that age too. And I'll tell you what, he raised them as his own. We weren't allowed to call them half sibling, this, that, and the other. They were, and you know, and it's funny because one of them is like Chantel, won't call him her dad or his dad, even though he raised him from the get-go. Disrespectful, everything else, reminds me exactly of her. The other one calls him father because he was that. He came in, they were kids, gave him, you know, treat them exactly the same as everyone else. And the thing is, though, yes, her mom had her when she was a teen. Funny enough, another parallel, my mother started having kids when she was 17. But that wasn't a means to, like, it's just, you know, this is the terminal uniqueness we talk about. There's all these reasons why, oh, this could be why. I actually do think she's a bad seed, probably has disorders going on. Her lack of empathy is very, okay, so I won't diagnose, obviously, but there are a lot of things it could be. And her lack of empathy is actually very scary. I've actually dated a diagnosed sociopath who has shown more empathy than she does at times. Because the thing is, and I'm not saying she is one, that I'm just saying she mirrors a lot, she mimics a lot, but she also fails to do that enough to seem regular. And I will say, like any disorder, like any mental thing, there are levels of severity, okay? But even some socios do have the ability to have empathy for very close loved ones. Usually, maybe if they have a kid or something like that. There usually has to be something very like severe tying them, and it's not the same level of empathy as like somebody else per se. But her lack of empathy is like really I guess because I've learned to spot it because of what I've seen with someone that has that trait. I notice it a lot. And she'll even try and pretend, but she doesn't pretend very well. And it's something, I mean, most of y'all hinted at things that kind of showed that already. This is why I kind of wanted to bring it up, because it's like before I hopped on. But her lack of empathy, and we know she's a pathological liar. She has a lack of empathy. She shows narcissistic traits. I'm saying traits because I'm not a professional. And there's a lack of just, again, the lack of empathy applies to friends, family, not even just people on the internet. I don't expect her to show any care toward any of us. Don't expect her to show any care toward any of the reaction channels. But she has no empathy with what happened with her grandmother, showcases that more than anything we can ever see. We saw in a timeline.
Yeah, that was terrible.
Yes.
That her behavior around that time was just so telling.
That changed me. I already was over her, but that point in time told me
everything you needed to know.
Yes. Oh, yes. Because you treat blood like that. I don't care what issues you may have gone through in the past. You treat blood like that.
Yeah.
There's no telling what she'll do to anybody, really.
No.
And I'm not shocked by it anymore. Whatever she does toward anyone, no matter how many people's information, this, that, and the other, she makes light of all this. Not shocked anymore. And I wish that wasn't the case.
It was the same thing with Pete's when his cat passed away.
Yes.
It was the exact same. It was a repeat of that. But worse, almost in the sense that Pete was like legitimately alone. We knew he was alone in the villa, and she left him there.
Yes. Not only that, Tiger Paw, but he then had to care for her 2 living cats after his cat had died. Yeah, can you imagine? Hey, your grandma just died. Can you stop by and drop some food by for my grandma? Because I can't bother. I mean, it's kind of different levels. But you know what I mean.
People had to go in her chat and tell her, hey, your friend is depressed and he's talking some really dark stuff. You might want to go check on him. And she couldn't bother.
She barely did.
Her whole thing was, am I supposed to just sit there while he sleeps? Yeah, you are.
Yeah, you are actually.
Yeah.
You check on your friends. You
Huddle
check on your
around the
friends, and that's
house,
that.
Make some tea, wander around, watch some movies,
watch
do what
TV,
you do.
whatever.
Be there when he wakes up.
Same with her mother. No comforting for her mom. And the way she talks of her mother being a teen mom, that is something I would never do. I would never talk about my mom like that. And I see it as a symbol of strength. My mother's time era, you did not leave a man, and my mom did that for her better of her life. The fact that she was a single mom, the fact that she had gotten a divorce in that era, because my parents are a little older. They're old enough to be my grandparents. Anyways, that was not heard of. So when I saw that, I saw a symbol of strength, self-care. My dad came along, raised the kids and all of us along. But how dare she, and her...
How does she talk about
her
mom
gosh
as a teen mom?
Well, and remember when Grandma got out of the hospital and they were staying at Uncle's house, and remember Chantal was being so whiny and needy, she kind of made the joke like, she had to go home to be with her cats. Remember, she was sleeping in the basement and she came up and got the bag of chips. She did not check on her grandmother once. Remember, she was streaming like this, and within 24 hours she left. She was no help to her mother. Does anybody remember the stream?
She cannot be present.
Yeah.
She cannot be present for anyone.
She streamed 4 hours after her grandmother's death. See, I said we shouldn't identify, and look at me now that's why I said I'm not. Look, this is a mess. The family stuff kind of hits me a little different because I was raised to have pride, not the kind of selfish pride, but be proud of where you come from, take care of loyalty, and your family is everything. And so seeing that just, but I have to remind myself, luckily, don't know the ladies. So
that was a lot.
But it's designed that way. It's designed for it to impact you. You, and you. She does that on purpose. That's why she picks from certain topics. Today, I'm going to trigger this group.
But Erie,
and I'm going to get them.
Mom and her sister and her aunt and her uncle, like even if she doesn't care about us, forget about us.
Right.
That's where it creeps me out the most. I don't expect her to care about us.
How are you going to do that to your own mother?
That's scary.
Because Chantal only cares about one person, Chantal. That's it.
Sick. It's such a gross character. It's such a gross part of her character, and just to be out there, just showing it. Most people, if they really felt like they didn't care about anyone else, they would maybe try to hide it a little bit. But
well, her. You guys were talking about she needs help somewhere, to go somewhere. That's happened 3 times: when she was a minor, when she fake unalived herself in Minecraft, and when that was the fake overdose story. She was put there. Then 2 times when she was an adult. And now she says, it doesn't work. I don't believe in it, not doing it again. And I do believe that her going to a place at the time as a minor was her parents' effort, her mom, her stepdad, to try and help. I do think they have in the past. I think at this point they've tried and tried and tried different methods. I do think that sending her to volunteer on that thing that she talks about, I think that was also kind of like them being like, hey, here's something that can benefit you, to give you some tools and structure and maybe iron you out. There have been some other things in passing she's mentioned. And, I think the family at this point is, well, we even saw the uncle did try and help during that, what whole thing. And so the family, they have help, but I think at this point they are spent.
They're tapped out.
Yeah.
They're tapped out.
Yeah.
I mean, the worst thing to ever happen to Chantal really is YouTube. It was the worst thing to ever happen to her, because she would have had to have, developed some kind of skills or maintain some kind of skills that she had been developing along the way. She did work for a little while. She did have a little bit more, she was a little more conscientious about the way that she presented herself, and she was a little more socially appropriate before, when she had to be, even you saw in Cuba, she wasn't as like feral as she typically would be. She was able to kind of hold it down, in public.
Yes.
So the worst thing to happen to her was YouTube, because it's allowed her to isolate herself, get inside her own head. Her world is like tiny, teeny circle. It's like the past or her immediate present. There's nothing else. And she's being, rewarded for this terrible, terrible behavior. And it's just like the worst thing that probably could have ever happened to her was her YouTube channel.
You saw how attached she is to that phone even during her cafeteria vacation, as I like to call it. But that's the other reason I think why a lot of people in her real life aren't going to go the extra mile at this point, beyond the fact that they're tapped out, because they would have to almost enter the arena like we saw Shannon try and do. Shannon tried to get her on the outside.
Just
almost like Sean, she went into the game. She tried to pull her out. Did not work. And there have been moments where they thought they were going to get along. Who knows right now how that's going. But I do think it's never going to be the same.
No.
And I don't think Shannon's going to be able to, no matter how people, what side of the fence, if they agree or not on that whole thing, doesn't matter. Really, the point is, I don't think Shannon's going to succeed, really. So.
I want to say, like, I watched her pre-pandemic, and I watched her like when the pandemic hit, and I have to say, like, that was when she had broken up with BB and was moving into the villa with Pete. It was like around May of 2020, and it was the beginning of the end, really, because we've all been impacted by what's been happening around the world. Like, nobody is the same person that they were before, but the two of them alone in that house, I don't think Pete's used to work from home before. Him having to work from home in this pandemic, everything just changing, like, it's also exacerbated the situation, like a lot. I would say it's exacerbated the situation a lot, because even you look at like Dee Dee having all that time to spend with Nader or whatever, like, well, at that time in Quebec, early 2022, numbers were high. People weren't going anywhere. They could spend that time kind of holed up together. Like, it's kind of like free time almost, when you don't have a lot of options outside, right? So, and maybe, I don't know where I was going with all of that, but
No, I know what you're talking about, because bad situations thrive in isolation. And this is, just like a lot of cases with, abuse and things like that. It thrives in an environment like this. And that's why during the pandemic,
they just went downhill together so quick. Like, her and Pete's together. It's like, there's that term, I think it's called folie à deux, fully. I did like a Madness of Two, and it's like the two of them together are making each other just nuts. I'm meaning Pete's. Well, actually, FBN Nader, but also I was referring to Pete's and Foodie Beauty. Like they have this weird, crazy way now of just like existing. Ugh, it's gross.
Can I say something on the comment that was here about YouTube Live is what kind of ended it for her? I have a theory on that, and I think it's simply because of this. When you're doing live streams, you don't really tend to go back and look at your live streams.
Mm-hmm.
But when you're editing, you get to see what you're saying, and you kind of get to design more a little like, oh, I should not add that in there. That was horrible for me to say. Let me take that out. You heard her say earlier today, I think I should watch the Cuba Rage, and I'm like, at first I was like, no, don't bother, but then I'm like, no, please do, because then I want to see how you really don't care, because I know you don't care that you said all those horrible things.
I agree.
So I
She'll
think
never bring
that's where the
herself to
live
watch
comes.
Yeah.
She'll never bring herself.
But
to
it's and it's I don't know if you guys can hear me, but it's true, because it's like I don't watch these streams back occasionally, but when I did, I was like, oh my God, I say about every other statement, and I'm like, I might want to work on that. Like, believe it or not, watching yourself objectively in action, and since Chantal, realistically, it's been about a year since we've got an edited video, so I'll play devil's advocate. Okay, we know that the drugs and everything else in YouTube has destroyed her, but how much of this was she hiding before because we only got edited content? I'm just saying, you know what I mean? Like, but
there you go.
no, I think
you design your
yeah,
character.
Exactly. But I do.
Yeah.
I agree with Tiger Paw that when she started making money on YouTube was when it was just Mayday, we're going down. She, and regardless of what she says, I think.
Why'd you stop, Girl Grebo? We're still here.
Oh, I'll send my screen went blank, and I'm like, I'm sorry. I swear to God, my screen just completely went blank, and I'm like, I can only see Buddha, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I'm like, okay,
what is going
I
on
thought
here?
It was solo mode.
Okay.
I put solo
Me
mode
too.
on.
Oh,
So there.
I just went squirrel. But
Oh,
what was I
puppy,
saying?
puppy.
I forgot. No, but she's not. I think that the YouTube, and regardless of what Chantel says, like I think in a part of her, she tries to excuse her behavior because she's trying to style herself after Nikocado Avocado. This is just a character. But I don't think it is a character. I think Chantal's finally found something that she can do and just say and do what she wants, and she can pretend it's a character. But when you stream 12 hours a day,
you know,
it's like
you're gonna break character. She's been breaking character
exactly
for the last year, and she's been breaking character since 2020.
Yep. And I will say this. I see Marchioness bringing it up, and I'll say all these crazy things she's doing. If anybody in here's ever been around an end stage addict, that guy, that, the one that's using all day, every day, all the crazy stuff. And I'm not saying that that's the only reason, but I'm saying I have seen people that went from fully functioning individuals within a couple of years into something very similar to Chantal, and that is so. And I'm not saying that, once again, I'm not saying it's the only thing, but end stage addiction looks very much like Chantal right now. And so, I really think the drugs were the coup de grace for whatever it was she had going on, because the drugs just don't forgive. They really don't.
It's a big game of Russian roulette. Like, whether it's the drugs or the lack of sleep or the lack of activity or the weight or the lack of hygiene, like it's just a whole situation. Bad situation.
The sky high blood sugar.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, she cured that.
Oh my Lord. Guys, I'm going to hit it. I have a lot of stuff to do in the morning. But I loved coming on tonight. I was feeling a little bored and I wanted to chit chat. So I appreciate all of you so much. Thank
All right.
you.
Thank you, Tiger Palm Bambino. Appreciate you as
It
well.
was
Take
great
care.
finally getting to see you, Tiger Paw.
It
Oh,
was good
thanks.
talking to
Yeah.
you.
Thanks. It was a lot of fun. I had
All
so much
right.
fun. It was a great combo. You guys have an amazing night.
All right. You
Be
too.
well.
Take care.
Okay,
Bye
bye.
bye.
Monty, don't ever put it on solo again, because my brain literally went.
And I did notice that. I'm like, I know why Gregory Bo just paused, because I could see you going like this.
I'm like, why won't it let me exit? And it won't let me turn the camera. I'm like, what is going on here? I looked like I was almost, anyway, I'll just blame it on Tourette's, So, oh my God. And I can say that because I have Tourette's, so I'm not making fun. But trust me, 1000% have Tourette's. Hang out with me. I have issues sometimes.
You must be fun at a party, Grebo.
Oh Lord, yeah. the thing is, so not that make cares. I will get a little personal. I don't like doing this, but when you're around people with tics, you can pick them up. So I don't have the coprolalia. Like I don't, you know what I mean? I don't just blurt out crazy stuff, but if you see people doing something repetitively, you can pick it up. It's because I used to watch Tourette syndrome videos. I remember I had to call my neurologist. I'm like, things are not going well. And he's like, dude, you can catch it. Don't watch those videos. I'm like, oh, well, that would explain a few things,
I can relate to that because
squirrel.
I have medical anxiety. So sometimes when we get on medical topics, which is just kind of a fancy way of saying a little hypochondriac here, and I'll be like, dude, I think I have that. I think that's what's wrong with me. And then I have to realize, like, no, you just heard someone else say it, and now you're going to physically feel it because that's how your brain messes with you.
Mm-hmm.
Watch Chantal tomorrow
never
and be
Google.
like, I think I have hypochondria. Guys, what do
I
do, guys?
She's
sorry.
Right? She wants to, like I said, I think we've probably beat this dead horse tonight, but the fact she had on that teal dress with the white, you know it has not been washed. It's just ew. And she was joking that even though she had bought the toothbrush, did you hear her joking? She still hadn't brushed her teeth. And so, yeah,
it's not
like I
just
said,
that. She's talking about, like, I bought a toothbrush, guys. Look, it's my toothbrush. I'm gonna brush the teeth. Aren't you proud of me? Can I get a cookie?
The bar is set so low for her that, like, literally you could trip on it and give her an attaboy because it's like she's dug a trench to set the bar for herself. So I think I'm probably gonna hang up. Thanks a lot for letting me come on panel, Monty, and it's good seeing you, Pepperoni. It's awesome seeing you,
too.
Buddha. Hello, YTR. I see you're back. It was good getting to chat with Tiger Paw too. It's so I will end my little ramble with this is I choose to be happy. I choose to view Chantal as motivation, and I choose to view her as entertainment. And when I'm getting mad at my entertainment, I can turn it off. I can walk away. I can be the best version of me. And then I can come back and just keep watching because, like I said, I get immense motivation from watching what could be anybody is like a few bad decisions away from that. So there's my words of not so much wisdom, but just I talk a lot. So there you go. It fell out of my mouth.
Well, thank you, Gregory Bo. Appreciate you as always on the panel. You're one of the OGs, if I could say that. So take care. All right, YTR, you're back.
I'm old.
Hi, I'm back. Yeah.
I wanted to ask something. what you guys think about this. I kind of came into the Goral world around the live stream era, meaning I was around, floating around before, but I really didn't notice a big swing with the two Gorals, especially when live streaming became more of the medium as opposed to the videos. ARLR, especially, hid behind this like quirky, in on the joke kind of Goral. And Chantal, she could dictate how pretty she looked. She could dictate her day. She could dictate whether she was the villain or the heroine. The word, yeah, heroine.
Heroin.
It's one of those
No,
words.
no, it's not right, the right word. But anyway, before they could dictate that, and you're right, I can't remember who brought it up earlier, but the editing, there's a certain amount of like watching myself edit. That's why I haven't been posting. I'm just like, cringe. I can't handle watching myself. It's too hard. And so, but then the girls went live. And the mask dropped, and Amber Lynn tried to put it back on and been like, no, actually, I'm not that guy. I'm actually this guy again. And everyone's like, nah, you a lie. But with Chantal, it's almost like once the mask dropped, she didn't care whether or not people thought she was this other girl. She's like, well, I'm gross now. Like today, she had half her bra hanging out, and she was eating off of the spoon, and she was moaning. She's like, and I was just like, ugh. And I was like walking around my house going, what the hell is she doing? And she was just, it was just feeder porn or feeder erotic video.
Oh yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was, she's leaned in, sorry. She's been leaning into the dark side so much that she's taken on this personality. And I don't know if it always was there or if she's just decided, I am going to be this dark person. Who knows how long I'm going to live? YOLO. Because sometimes I wonder, does she think deep down, I have all these medical issues. I'm going to ignore them. Screw it. I'm going to live as hard as I can till I die, even if I die earlier. You know what I mean? I don't know if sometimes the way she acts is this like defeatist vibe. Like she knows that it's too hard to turn everything around now. So she's just going to lean in and do all the things and say all the things because YOLO. You know what I mean? I keep coming back to YOLO, but I feel like that's really like a tattoo that she has on her lower back, like tramp stamp style.
Oh, I bet she would totally. She watch her go tomorrow because you said that and get a YOLO tattoo.
I hope she does. I'll be.
Watch.
I will laugh so hard. Justice, hi.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello. Hi, chat.
Yes, I gave her the cover up idea, by the way. That was me. She never ever knew about any of that until I did a little stream and talked about it. Well, I did a few of them because it really triggered me about those stupid kissing girls. But yeah, but then she even down to the, oh, I could get a floral. You did not know that. And most people don't know that kind of stuff. You'd have to be in the tattoo world to really know. And then she ruined it by being like, well, I'm going to get a phoenix over it. And I laughed so hard. I said, you can't get red over that black tattoo, honey. The only thing you can do is something black as well. That's it. That's all. Those are your options, girl. But that's fine because it doesn't matter. Not going to happen anyways. But yeah, that was just my little ha-has for the
I don't think
randomly.
the Phoenix would work on her anyways.
Oh, no,
Like,
no.
ooh,
But,
can you imagine?
and I know that it wasn't an idea from an artist because artists see bad tattoos all the time and they do not just go to people and say, hey, let's cover that up. They don't do that. That's very rude and taboo. And like they're used to seeing people with crazy tattoos. The only time an artist is going to do a cover up is if you ask them.
Wow, that looks horrible. We should cover that puppy up.
Well, I mean,
Your tattoo sucks.
So
Wow,
do
that's
something
crap.
about that.
But yeah, I definitely. What do you think of this? Oh, sorry. I'm just getting a kick of this. I'm an alt girl. Look at me. I'm laughing at this whole thing.
I'm pierced. I'm tatted. Look
Oh,
at my
yes.
tat. I'm
Oh,
very
my.
tatted, pierced, tatted. Yeah, we get it. You're pierced. You're tatted. We're getting it. We
She
see
acts
ya,
like
girl.
she just gone through Vietnam or something.
Literally,
Like,
she is acting like that.
Gosh, my ear.
Very
Actually, I
that.
think it's infected, but Who knows?
The ear one, right? It shouldn't be oozing stuff, Chantal.
She's like, it's all good.
Just
It's just oozing like green and yellow stuff. I'm not really sure. I'm like,
Mm.
girl. No,
it's
girl.
called gangrene,
Yeah, right.
and you should have a doctor see it.
Right.
It's just another green thing on her body, in her body, near her body,
Oh,
by her
Right.
right.
That's right.
Oh
She's used
my.
to green stuff. It's like,
Well, I mean,
that's
there's a
normal for
variety
her.
of colors going on right now in her world. There's green, there's purple, there's black, there's bath bomb,
Ham.
different shades,
Oh,
there's pink
Pam,
and
yeah.
rash colors. Like, I don't think that there's a part of her that's just going to be like, oh, that's gross. It doesn't seem like there's anything in this world that she considers to be like what makes Chantel's toes curl in disgust?
Other beautiful women. I'm serious.
Specifically, women with blunt bangs.
The blunt
Wouldn't it be
bangs.
great if
Yeah,
she
See
ordered?
you next
you
Tuesday.
She ordered
Buddha.
she'll get like a Katy Perry wig or something on Amazon and like start rocking it, and she'll call
Wait a
herself like
second, Buddha. Would you
Betty
be
or something.
weirded out if Chantel starts to imitate you like with the
To
wigs and
single white
everything?
female you. I hope she's.
She's single
Why
white
I
not?
would be
femeling
flattered.
Buddha.
Like,
The
would it
tight
be
look.
weird if she got the exact same wig and like I don't know, like headset that you have? Would you be weirded out?
No, man, I would be flattered, first of all. And second of all, it would be the first time that she would ever wear a hair shape that would work for her face. You have good
Oh,
eyes,
that's
sweetheart.
true.
And if you work that face of yours, a blunt bang with, it would look good on you. So I would suggest that you actually go and get yourself one of these deals because it would look smashing on you. From a hairdresser's point of view, I think you could really rock a blunt bang. Gore.
Mm. Did you see the Dee Dee picture where she's trying to be Dee Dee?
It
With
was
the
cigarette.
90 and
Yes, we don't
mhm.
speak of that. Shut up. Kick her off,
Oh,
Monty. Kick her off.
I'm so sorry. I don't know the rules.
No, I'm kidding. It's just so horrifying. I don't want to remember it.
Well, this
To be
goes
honest with
into
you,
that behavior. It's obsession, you know.
I think that it's good to watch from our point of view, but to be on the receiving end, like it would be funny if she did that with me living all the way up here. But if I lived an hour away from her and she was dressing up like me and she was eating cube cheese and cuddling dogs and telling people off and punching things, I might be like, okay, single white female.
Eating cubes of cheese and punching things.
Oh,
That is so specific.
well, yeah, I went on a rant one time on a panel about how amazing cube cheese is, and I pretty much wrestled my own mother to get a cube. And I do a competitive Thai kickboxing, so
What kind of
cheese and
cheese
boxing.
is your
I'm a
favorite
big.
cube cheese?
I like a good 7-year-old white cheddar. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah. Well,
Tangy.
the Dee Dee wig gives me that
Fancy.
rin vibes, so you know.
Look good though. Those pictures. I'm sorry, but I do look at her pictures with a critical eye. And even though she was impersonating Dee Dee, she had like the eye mask, and she had the hair, and she had the cigarette hanging out of her
Yeah,
mouth,
she tried to be the
and
aesthetic. Yeah.
and she had the pout. And to be honest with you, I was like, she's serving. I know it's a joke. But I was like,
Was she serving a
well, I
look?
mean,
Really?
it was no, it wasn't. It was the way the cigarette was falling out of her mouth, just the way it was like, and she was looking at the camera, and I was like,
Serving
Chantal in Pulp
trash.
Fiction. That's what that was. Chantal
I
in
had
Pulp
to.
Fiction vibes.
I mean, she was serving a little bit. I mean, it was a very in on the joke kind of pic, but it had that kind of like remember those fantasy photos you'd take with like the feather boas? Remember like the glamour shots?
Glamour shots.
Boudoir.
Glamour shots.
And you'd see like the bow, and you'd be like, for my husband
I
Ralph.
didn't
Like,
do
it had
those.
that.
I wasn't.
Neither did I, but I know about them. They were like so iconic for the 90s.
I've heard
and
of
stuff,
them.
you know?
Yeah, my friends did them. Yeah.
But
Oh,
there is
that's
one
funny.
photo that you guys may not have seen, and it's on Twitter, and I might traumatize you by bringing it up. But there's this photo that someone posted on Twitter. It's an extreme close up of her braille areola. It's
Mm-hmm.
her nipple, but
Braille?
it's so enlarged
Oh,
that it looks like
yeah.
you're in a plane going over, BC. Like it's just like,
Her
like it's
mountains
very
are just out in
rocky,
it.
but it's
Yeah.
so close up that you're not really sure if it's a nipple. What are you looking at? And
Is it
You know,
landscape? Is it a nipple?
there should
it,
be
it,
some kind of
yeah,
warning. There
look
should
like
be
an
a
overhead
warning
view of a
system set up
hurricane.
on your phone.
I agree, Erie.
Because today that happened to me. I was sitting next to my husband, okay? And I said, "Oh, let me check what's going on Twitter."
Oh
And
no.
this literally was my reaction.
How are you still that
What am I
shocked
staring
by
at?
Chantal's stuff? How is anyone still like horrified? We watch her, she flashes us, we
I
see
don't
these
want to
pictures.
see it.
How are you surprised? How is anyone
I've
surprised by
already
it?
seen them too many times.
Right,
I
I'm
am
like,
not
the
a
oh, there it is.
voluntary
time.
viewer.
Oh, well, if you make a channel, I don't know if you have a
She
channel.
has a
Erie, but
channel. Erie has a
people,
girl
at
channel.
some point, people will just send you these fun DMs without you asking. And so all these things I've seen in so many ways, including the OnlyFans content, that I'm just
Right.
like, my eyes are burnt. It's fine at this point.
Yeah.
But I do get what you're saying, though. You will just go in there and you're doing especially if you have a significant other, your husband, you probably were like, let's not
He's
have him
fully
think
aware
I'm,
of Chantal.
into
He
this.
thinks
But
he finds her like, he knows that I'm in this community. I love all of our community, and we watch this person do things that make us go like, what the F did I just see and hear? And one day he saw her and he goes, who the hell is that? And I'm like, I don't know how to explain her to you. I really don't. How do I explain this person to you? Go away. Just let me do my thing.
Exactly. It's like I can't even just go. Just leave me
This is
alone.
one-
I just
this
too
is the
long.
realm that us single people get to shine. Okay.
Exactly.
we can just do our creep shit. We can just
Exactly. I feel you, YouTube. I totally feel you.
because there is no way I'd explain this to anybody in my real life. Actually, funny enough, one of my actual real life friends, and I discovered that we do watch Anne Boleyn this year, so we bonded over that. But Chantal's a whole other thing, and they won't even go near that. They're aware of her existence. They won't watch that. They're like,
So
nope, too far.
can we agree like that Chantal is like everyone, all of us, we're kind of like, it's our dirty little secret that we watch this person.
Yes.
And we really don't want our outside people to know, because then we would have to explain, and we don't know how to explain.
Well, I think a lot of people that know me know that I love trash TV, always have. I have if anyone ever sees me watching her, I'll just be like, well, you saw I watched, 1,000-Pound Sisters and this and that. And they'll be like, oh, and I'd be like, this is like the dollar store YouTube version of that. And they'll be like, okay, whatever.
Right.
But,
Exactly.
Yeah, they kind of know that I'm a little weird, but I would hate for one of them to get the wrong idea and think I'm like into the weird. You know what I mean?
No, I get what you're saying. And the thing with this is like the panels and stuff, like, and Chantal is like so miffed by these panels and people talking about it. And it's like, here's the thing. That's like, what is that channel? I don't have TV. I don't watch it, but it's like Bravo. You know how they panel up and they talk about all the trash TV, right?
Yeah.
And they all gossip and they all talk about like, oh, this was happening. It's exactly what we're doing here, maybe with more insight, but we're just watching our reality trash TV and talking about it because she puts it out there, I equate those two things. Like, this is no different than anything else where people come together and talk about the reality shows they watch.
Yeah,
very true.
It is. And if you frame it like that, it doesn't sound as weird. I mean, of course, there's a form of twisted to it, but I do think, humans have done this for forever. It used to be just like, there used to be some really severe cases. We don't even want to bring those up because yikes. But, people used to watch like, they go to the circus, see a free show, this, that, and the other. It's kind of like a modern version in a way, although we do try and have a more intellectual view on all this. But, it's human nature. This is a life that you would not see displayed. Even people that might kind of fit into that mold usually don't broadcast that kind of thing. So people have a morbid curiosity.
Yeah, I'm not saying
It's
this is
just
normal. I'm
human,
not like, oh, this
right?
is normal. We all what? I'm just saying she is
Mhm.
more extreme, number one. And two, I'm not saying like, oh, this is normal and everyone does it. But I mean, from Chantal's perspective and maybe the VIBs that get upset, like, this is no different than her
Yes.
watching 600-pound sisters, or I mean, 600-pound, My 600-Pound Life, or 1,000-Pound Sisters, and just talking about it. Like, you put it out there, you are a freak show. And I don't mean that in like a derogatory term. Like, you
Yeah,
put
I
yourself
felt
as
kind
a
of bad when I
freak,
said
you know?
that word.
No,
Just an
she
expression, not
exactly. No,
really
she puts the
directed.
show on. It's not like, oh,
Yeah.
we just look at her and look how freaky she is. She intentionally acts freaky,
Well,
and
she
we
leaned in,
respond
like
to
we
it.
said too. She's been
She
leaning
does.
further.
Yeah.
She's really gone full throttle. And I've been wondering that same thing. Was it you, Buddha, that brought up like what was that turning point? And I've wondered that too. I do think live streams were a big incentive because she does get a lot of super chats in the moment. So I do think that eggs her on a bit. That's my guess anyway. And I think another thing that could factor in maybe is just as far as this has gone on, more people from real life are cut off. So just anything that was normal, and we kind of talked about this already, but anything that's normal is now gone. So with her, this is her world now. So her perception of this is more skewed. So she'll lean in, but then she will just become the character. At some point, where does it end?
Yeah,
Where does
that's a
like
great
It's
way
just
of
gonna
putting
keep
it.
going. She's raking in money.
Mhm.
It's gonna keep going
Yeah, but
until
I
she
think
doesn't rake in money.
those super chats really get her. Like she really, it seems like that's what gets her to really play it up even further. I would assume
Totally.
anyway. I don't know.
Totally.
She's gone full Nikocado, man, and I can't. The one thing I like, I'm. Oh, so a doggy's having a dream. There's a couple of things
Aw.
like the one thing about Nikocado is he's at a level. I can't watch anything he does because it's just so manufactured and it's
Yeah.
just too much. I can't. My brain can't. But then I don't find it as authentic. I feel like he turns off the Nikocado and he's just like chill, like sometimes. And Chantal is going full Nikocado, but I mean, she's going full. Like you never go full Nikocado, and she's like full. Like I'd like to think the Academy. She is like the what's that actor's name? The guy who's like the best actor in the whole world. He goes full method. That's Chantal. She's a method study of
Oh my
Nikocado to the point where
gosh.
she's lived it now, and
You
she doesn't
notice,
know how to be anything but a train wreck.
Wait, time out, guys.
Buddha,
Monty, do you need to say something?
Huh?
Monty looked like he needed to say something really
oh
quick.
yeah.
Were you trying to say something?
No, I was not trying
I'm
to say
sorry.
anything.
Okay, I'm sorry. Sorry, girls. Keep going.
I want to, but Monty, I am curious now that the pause was here for your input. I'm curious what you think of it because have you noticed a shift? Do you think this is always maybe there behind the scenes a little more, or like what do you think of the whole thing with
I
the
think
feeding stuff?
she's feeding into the whole idea of being a train wreck. Just the dancing. Like at some point, the dancing was kind of real, and it was like it's funny. But now she's like she's adding like an accelerant to the fire, if you know what I mean. Like she really loves feeding into the train wreck of it, feeding into being something that people watch with like horror.
Mm-hmm.
So
Why do you think that excites her? Well, I guess we can't know, but I'm just curious what your guess would be.
I have like no idea. Great Group was like Tropic Thunder. Method acting at its best, right? Who was that guy that was in Morbius? Who was that actor? Does anybody know? Jared
No clue.
Leto. Yeah, he was doing method acting as well. So does Christian Bale and Jim Carrey, but yeah, like she
She's
loves the
Daniel
attention.
Day-Lewis.
I think
Yeah.
she's
That's
paralleling.
who
She
I was
wants,
thinking, Buddha.
yeah, she wants like any type of attention, no matter what it is. But now she's getting more bad attention than good attention. So with that said, it's like, and it doesn't matter. It's kind of like how we had like the thumbs up, thumbs down button. Doesn't matter what you press, it's still engagement. It's the same for her, right? Good attention or bad attention, she's getting less good attention,
Yeah.
more bad attention. It's still attention. Let's get it, right?
Yes,
And
that's
plus
true.
all getting paid at the same time.
That's why I tell people don't give her a thumbs down. I know it's hard not to, or it's hard to resist it, but it's still helping her numbers.
Yep, I never
True.
thumbs down because I know that.
Yeah, and
Mhm.
it's unfortunate because you do want to hit it. There's something
Yep.
satisfying about being like,
Yep.
especially
So true. No,
Especially when you
I've
can pay
clicked
for
it
it.
and unclicked it
well,
before.
especially
Right.
because she like locked it all behind like paying to say your opinion. So now that like you
Totally.
can't anymore, it's more like I'm just gonna hit this button. I'm gonna tell you something.
Girl,
But
yes.
That's how I
Yes,
started
girl.
making my videos because I didn't want to give her the engagement. So I've been
Oh,
hanging out
okay.
here. And I said, I'm just going to say what I need to say through videos and Family Guy. There you
That's
go.
perfect. It's cathartic.
I just like I thought a lot more of the, when I found her, she was still doing pre-recorded content. At that point, I thought this is more like there are parts of her that I thought, okay, that's her, but then I thought, okay, that's a gig for the channel. And when that live streaming, the mask fell, we saw it's more how she was, but I think we're going back into the territory since she's leaning further in that you can see a shift again. She goes through these metamorphoses, man. I always talk about her true form. It's a joke of mine, but she goes through these like metamorphoses. But the longer she does this, while being isolated from any kind of real life activity,
Yeah.
I get it. The pandemic, we have, we're not engaging as much as we used to. However, most people have something. They're either working outside the home or even people that work in the home. They have friends, family, whatever. When you take all that away, and Chantel is not the only person that has gone kind of mental from doing YouTube. Nor will she be the last. And there are plenty of people that have gone cuckoo over here, and they're not even, heavy or anything. It doesn't even have to do with that. It's just they have separated from reality and have
Yeah.
nothing to tether them back.
Yes, exactly. And I think that Chantal, like we all have been screwed over by this, but I think people like Chantal actually have had it much better than most of us because she makes a lot of money. She doesn't have to leave home. If she does leave home, she has the money to go to Cuba, this, that, or that. A lot of people don't have those options to still be able to spread their wings and like meet new people and still be financially stable and like so. And she's gotten worse, even though
Yeah.
she has it so much better. And I don't mean that like mentally, like she could have it really bad mentally, that I'm not discounting that, but just financially and how her life is set up, she could be doing real well,
Yes. But it's almost like money can't buy happiness and material things
Almost,
can't
huh?
buy happiness.
Almost.
That's why you hear some of the most famous people, sometimes, the things going on in their family life or whatever. Sometimes it's like, woo, that's the worst.
Right.
So, yeah, I really do think she's empty and, she's going all the wrong directions to try and fill that gap. And yeah, the 7 deadly sins. Yes, she is. All in one person. Oh no, where'd Justice go?
Where'd Justice go? Come back.
I think Pete should have moved out a while back. Like, I just don't like, he's very helpless at this point. But I remember there was a point where the breaking up thing was a little more new, and there was a point where you could almost see the wheels starting to turn, almost. And when he didn't do it, then it's like now, like when he had the job, right, Monty? Did he still work at that point? I think.
Yeah, it's too late for peace now. Like, where is he gonna go? Like my house?
I want
my
him
God.
to. You could
I
get him in
love that.
shape.
Really?
Yes, I think you should be his foster dad. Oh my God, you guys were talking about this. I was at work listening.
I'm like, I'll show you how to use the dishwasher, Pete's.
I think you should be his
Right.
foster dad. I would
Yeah.
watch that live stream that. And
Right? We could have like it's the Minty and Pete's show where
Oh
I
my God.
show him how to shave. And then I tell him don't put alcohol on your balls if you shave it after because it burns.
Can you foster? Oh my, this might be a tall order.
I can't believe Buddha didn't laugh. Buddha, you didn't laugh at that. Come on, that was like
Well,
a
I was
really.
gonna follow up with, I'd love to see you show him to put on his first condom.
Oh my gosh, that's
I
why
was
you're
waiting so I could come in with an add-on, man.
Oh my gosh, whoa.
Well, wouldn't that be
Oh,
just a sweet
Right?
father-son moment, right? Except
It
he would have a
would.
plantain, whereas Monty would have a cucumber. Because you want to stay correct to the teacher-student ratio, right?
Then I'll have the birds and the bees advice. That scream is gonna be epic.
the health class moment.
You
Yeah,
should
exactly.
dedicate an entire teaching lesson to teach him per capita.
Oh, I
Right.
want to be there. Hey, I was the one that fought with him that day. I think I deserve a front row
Right.
seat.
And I could totally
Please.
do like impromptu searches, but like, is that a hickey there, Pete's? You
Can
have a
you
hickey?
foster DLF? Oh my gosh, wait. We've been going about this all wrong, doing the Big Brother house with the females. No. Monty fosters Pete's DLF. Who's another incel? Oh my gosh.
OMG.
Nikocado.
King Cobra. Oh my god. DLF. King Cobra Pete's. Big Brother house. Monty's house. It's there.
Yeah? Okay. I
Yeah.
could
So
see
where's
it.
the all-woman house?
Well,
gonna
we'll
go?
have that on the side, but that's
Oh,
next season.
I'm
We
not
gotta get
mentoring
them.
Chantal.
We
Like,
gotta get the money, honey. This is first season. That's next season.
You know what, Rosie? You're right. Peach does unconditionally love Chantel. It will be hard to separate Peach from Chantel in no matter what. I don't know what it's gonna take. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, if Pete's is literally stuck, both physically stuck because he is dependent on her for survival in so many ways, but also mentally, like we had said before, like they're two peas in a pods. Folia do. Who said that? It's the same. I think it was Tiger Palm Bambino said folia do, which is a shared psychosis or shared delusional disorder. And I really do think there is some substance to that. So I don't know what's gonna happen. It's a sad situation. I think it's gone too far. At the point where he still had the job, he could leave. But at this moment, it's like, how is he gonna separate himself from this situation unless somebody actually maybe takes him in? Because he can't go with his mom. His brother's still there. His dad's in Alberta, I believe, but he doesn't talk to his dad. Like, where is this man gonna go?
Well, I guess he's just gonna have her go.
Monty, do you think that Pete is in love with her to an extent?
I
or
think
no?
it's love, but it's not like the sexual
romanticals?
kind of love. No,
Oh, okay.
because
But
remember, there's
Monty,
there's
Yeah.
different types of love, right?
Right,
Not just
yeah,
one type. What are they called again? Like there's the love of God or a higher power. There's a love between a man, woman, woman, man, man. I think it's like philia is what it is. The philia type of love, and then there's the sexual love, right?
hmm I think he was in love with her up until, well, this is theory, of course, allegedly.
Mhm.
I do believe that probably at this point it's probably worn down, but I do think at some point when they had moved in, he was kind of hoping that they would move in together and kind of go back to like when they were a couple.
Mhm.
Oh, you have a troll. And then actually let me report.
Yikes! My
Don't
best
nerd.
cams, man. They keep doing
Ooh,
that.
yeah,
nobody wants that
they've been
Yeah.
here.
circling around
Right?
actually. So yeah, they made it to you, unfortunately. They've been in mine, they've been in some other
Everybody's chat.
Yes, yeah.
But yeah,
Monty.
Sorry.
so somebody saying something?
Oh no, go ahead. Finish. I have a question when you're done.
No problem. I was saying I did bring up the different types of love, right? Like there's not just one type, right? There's
Yeah.
like the agape, there's the eros, there's the storage, and there's the philia. Not a lot of people know of these different types of love for a person or a community or yourself. But I do think Pete's doesn't have that eros type of love for Chantel. It's more of, a different kind.
Yeah, I think he had hoped. My theory is that he had hoped when they first moved in. Now, quite some time has passed, so I think at this point, no. But I do think initially when they first moved into the villa, I think he had kind of like a false hope, like, oh, maybe we'll go back to the way it was. But I think that living with her, it kind of changed that. But that's just a theory, no proof to that. And really, I guess, at this point, yeah, they're just it's so funny though, because they're the perfect match, but not really. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Like they're the perfect, like they're the only people that can deal with each other. Oh.
You know, one thing I find about Pete's is, or even Chantel, sometimes we spend a lot of our times like wondering, like, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? But I don't think about that. I think about it more like, well, they'll find themselves where they are, and they're going to decide whether they like it there or not, and then whether or not they're going to do anything about it to get out of it. For example, when I'm broke back in the day when I was a former addict but newly clean, I moved to Calgary and I rented a bedroom. I just rented a room that was available in a house. I ended up as a girl, obviously, living in a house with like 5 dudes that all like worked in the oil field, and I was just renting a bedroom for like $400 a month. And then I leveled up a little bit, and I got a second job, and I went up to $550 a month. And then eventually I could get in a place where there was only like 3 bedrooms and 2 were girls. And then I leveled up to my own little basement apartment, and then leveled up, and then leveled up, and now I'm in a giant house, and I fill it with dogs, and it's a business expense. So hey, so I'm living the life. And the thing is, wherever he finds himself, at the very least, he can always rent a bedroom. It's nothing.
You have to have survival skills to do that, though. I mean, you are correct. And he can't even clean a litter box, and he's a grown man. That leads me to really wonder about what he could do at all. But I do agree with you that, yes, you climb the ladder, you do what you got to do. I definitely relate to that. You just keep going up and up as you can go. And he could do that. Technically, he could. I just don't know how he could be motivated. If Chantel like really moved and left him, like it would take, he's not going to make the call. It's kind of like how Chantel can't make the call. Nader has to make the call. Pete's is Chantel. What with Nader, what Chantel is to Nader, Pete's is that to her. Does that mean?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Right? Like
I think
the other one will have to do something.
I think if anybody's gonna leave between Pete's and Chantel, it will be Chantel. So yeah, I think you're right with that. Well, that's just my opinion that it will be Chantel.
I mean, if she left, maybe that would get him to do something. But I think when he's comfortable with her, I don't think that initiative will take place.
Yeah, exactly. He's too comfortable with her.
He said, "I never want to work again." I mean.
Yeah, so he settled with her. So until she leaves him, because
can you imagine after seeing the Nader thing and then deciding to stay? Oh,
I mean, she cheated on him, and then they became roommates after that. Like, isn't that like it's obvious that he doesn't have a standard for like how people need to treat him for him to hold them in higher regard. But I mean, I feel like they got this codependent feedback loop going between them, and she enables him to live his dream sloth lifestyle, and he's always a face to come home to so that she doesn't feel eternally lonely, and he's her hype man and her yes man, her Flavor Flav, like he's just like, yeah, everything you do is awesome, yeah, and and she loves it because no matter how horrible she is or how disgusting she is or whatever she does, he's always going to be unconditionally there for her, and that's real currency for her, I think. And for him, it's like, well, you know what I mean? I'm her guy, and she always seems to get through the tough spots, so she'll drag me through with her. But if she did bail and leave him stranded, I mean, he can always rent a room or get a. Yeah. Didn't he work at Shaw for like a long time? Like that's a big person job, isn't it? Whatever he was doing.
Yeah, he
Rogers. He was at Rogers.
What did he do?
I think he was doing the whenever you call in about problems, maybe with your cable, your internet, whatever. Then he would answer the phone. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, he has shown that he's even in a lot of ways given the circumstance more capable than her in some, like in the respect of holding down that job and everything. I think losing that job, I know he wasn't happy in that job. And look, I get it. I do think if you are that unhappy, it is good to seek out another job. Just don't quit that job. He could have gotten another job. If he would have actually applied himself, he could have gotten a job at a bookstore. He never called the place. The chat was always asking him, did you call? Did you call? No. And if they want me, they'll call me. Well, that's not how jobs work anymore. You got to
Yeah.
call. And wouldn't it have been a better thing for him to leave the house to go to work, change up his thing a little? But it didn't happen. And I thought, well, dang, because that would have been, I know some people were kind of like criticizing his choice of like, oh, he wants to work in a book. Who cares? There's a lot of people that are store clerks. There's nothing wrong with that if you get up every morning and actually leave the house, for God's sake, shower, but when he didn't really keep pursuing that, he applied at a couple jobs, didn't inquire and left it be. And then there was that. And Chantel made the channel around that timeline as well, which I think is interesting because I think she did that at that time for a reason.
Yeah.
I don't know. No way to know that, but she does like to bring people into her YouTube world because she won't leave her YouTube world.
True. And what was also bad for Pete's is how his channel, people started giving him like $1,000 in like 2 days.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, when he started his channel. When you're getting that much money and you don't really have to work for it, then that gives you a false sense that this is the money tree. The gravy train is going to keep rolling in, and it didn't.
Mm-hmm.
Now look, he only gets maybe $500 a month, which isn't bad, but it ain't good.
No. Yeah, it gave him kind of a false hope of and he sees what she makes too, and I think it skewed his idea of kind of
That
just
he could be able
regular
to make the
pay.
same, right?
Yeah,
But
I think he
yeah,
did think that.
it's kind of sad, but hey, I think he has the ability to have the understanding that he's kind of in a really shitty situation. So, I don't know what's gonna happen, but he needs to really consider his options that are left.
I do think she really manipulates because he does have a disability, and I do think, you see he almost looks up to him in a child or to her in a childlike way. He does copy her a lot in some weird ways, and he kind of mimics her behavior sometimes. And he also like I've seen her like just do it on purpose. Hard to explain, but I think you guys probably have seen where she is taking advantage of that. I don't know how to explain it really. It's like someone taking advantage and manipulating someone that's like, disabled, Asperger's, autism, whatever. I don't remember which one he has, but no matter, it doesn't really matter. The point is like she manipulates that a lot. And he just, I don't know if he realizes she does that. I don't think he does.
I think he kind of has been lately. That's what I was going to bring up.
Okay.
I wanted y'all's take on this. Is it me, or is he being like a little more snappy with her lately and calling her out on things?
A little bit.
Do you think maybe her being off to Cuba gave him a sense of, oh, this is what it's like to live without her and having to fetch 50,000 meals a day for her? So now he has like a little less patience and he just says what he needs to say.
Oh, wow. I didn't think about that.
I think he's just passive aggressive. It bubbles over sometimes and he gets all snark. And that's what I think. I think sometimes that he's very, chill with her. And then, but a lot of the times, even when he's chill, there's these little digs, these little jellyfish stings that are hidden behind his words, like shade. You know what I mean? And I feel like sometimes he can get shadier, but I think his only way to deal with her sometimes is to be like passive or passive aggressive, but he's always just passive. You know what I mean? Like he can't just straight up and be like, you suck or whatever. So he'll make a dig about her food or going to the door. You know what I mean? Like,
Or there's been times where she'll be like, I can't remember, because even Monty, you noticed this one time. I can't remember which one it was. It may have been the Barracuda comment that she was like, I don't smell like that, do I, Pete? And she's used to him being like, no, Chantal, no, you don't. And this time he was like, well, yeah, you kind of do. And she was like, what? You said that to me on my live stream?
I think during the Nader era, he's spoken up slightly more, though, I would say, generally. He's always kind of, been a little bit snippy, but I do think during the Nader thing, he's kind of been a little more over the course of time. But I wonder, though, because if what you're suggesting, though, if that is true, that he kind of liked not having to do stuff for her, that's kind of a fun theory, because then we should hope she travels more, because then we can see more of that. I don't know.
I kind of like appreciate when he claps back at her too.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
kind of funny. I
it's
kind of giggle
refreshing
a
because
little bit.
as much as we know that Pete's kind of needs the financial comfort in Chantal needs the help. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, he's the fetch boy. He gets everything she needs. Hey, go get me this, go get me that. She knows that no one else anytime soon is going to be moving in to help her. So he kind of has an upper hand on that as well.
Well, but he's the enabler. I mean, this is like 600-pound life before they reach the 600 pounds. All this fetching and all this, she could be doing more of that activity.
Very true.
She's not going to do it because she likes having a servant. But what I would love to just see him up and leave, rehome the cats, and she just is sitting there without her enabler. She doesn't have her fetch boy anymore, and maybe she's got to walk down the stairs to get her Uber Eats. That's still more activity than she had before.
Does she realize? And you mentioning 600 pound? Oh my God! Does she realize if like right now she thinks she's being all cute and it's rebellious and yeah, I'm gonna eat 50,000 meals a day in this camera and you can't do nothing about it. Chantal, you're about to be immobile.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna be bed bound, and are you gonna feel cute and rebellious then when you have to rely on anyone, to help you with basic needs?
Right. And I don't understand this either, because she's mentioned that she's watched 600-pound life. Now, in Chantal terms, who knows? That could mean she's seen it 3 times. That could mean she watches it every other day. You got to take what she says with a grain of salt. But she's seen it. She's aware of it. Even one episode should scare someone straight if they're like getting there. Even Amber Lynn Reed, who's 500, has seen that show, and it hasn't. It's very interesting to me because their lives are so close to being there. In fact, I don't see much of a difference in my eyes. Their mobility is changed so rapidly just within a year's time. Especially Chantel's. When she went into that Pennington's, she couldn't breathe from one side to the next.
You guys like this shirt?
Yes. And I'm
it was giving me anxiety. I was like, girl, sit down.
Yes.
You're going to pass out.
Well, I was saying keep going, girl, because you need to move more. But yeah, I mean, they do have to pace them. It's one of those weird things where it's like they got to move more to get out of this situation, but also they got to try and avoid having like a heart attack or something else. And to put your body through that, like, and why would you? Well, I'm not going to understand, but I do see that it's like, if you've watched this show, it's weird too, because Amber and her have still said things like, well, I'm not that. Well, I know Amber said it. Now I'll dial that back. I don't know if Chantel said it. But I know Amber said it kind of with an attitude like she's better. And I'm like, girl, are you really going there? Now, Amber does have a nice house, but that's not due to Amber. That's due to who she lives with, keeps the house. Unlike with Chantel, who she's with, doesn't care to keep the house. And that's the difference there. Amber's enabler wants to clean the house. She's got a different kind of enabler. So but that's not Amber. If there's somebody making a video doing, oh, look at me, I'm putting things in the dishwasher. No person that does that on a normal daily basis is going to think to put that in a video. It just won't cross their mind. That says all I need to know about their activity.
Here's something that I'd like to say about both Amberlynn and ALR, or no, Amberlynn and Foodie Beauty, is that it takes a lot of choices to get to where they are. It's not like the world just happened to them. It takes a lot of bad choices every day, consistently, every day, year after year, to get to this place where they're at. It's not like they woke up and they're like, but guys, it is so hard. You don't understand. No, I get it. It was hard. And then you still did it again and it got worse. And it was worse and it was hard and you did it again. Like the thing is, at some point, these are adults who keep making decisions that only make their situation worse, yet they want these understand, like, oh, my situation. Yeah. Not only did it take a million decisions to get you to where you are, but it takes a million decisions to keep you where you are. The fact that you're not making any of those decisions to help where you are to get to where you say you want to be. So at some point, like, I want to have sympathy for them and I want to understand and I want to have compassion. But all I see are two adults making a ton of terrible decisions. You know, you can't eat. I don't know where I was going to go with that. But anyway, basically your 99.99% of your choices are for the negative. So, you know, what do you want from us? Understanding, compassion. I get it. Like as a human,
I feel like we tried that though. I mean, they like to act like we're all haters. There's plenty of big people that I've had sympathy for, but they're nice people. They don't abuse people in their life. They don't treat people like crap. They still have jobs. They still do their thing. They love to reduce it to weight. They love to do that. Now we talk about the weight because they're always bringing up their health issues, and it's a factor when you're talking about health. But as far as when we're talking about behavior, that's different.
I'd like to also add on to that because the one thing, especially with ALR, is that I feel like sometimes she doesn't want to lose weight at all because she's spent so much of her life identifying as this girl who struggles with her weight, and it almost makes her a bit of a protected person. You know, you can't hate on me, the fat shaming. And also on top of that is it's not my weight, guys, it's my mental health. You know, it's the mental health that keeps me from losing the weight. I'm protected because of this. I'm protected because of the mental health. You can't get on my case at all because all those odds are stacked against me. And again, you're an adult, you're making all these decisions, and all the decisions point to the fact that you don't want to get better. Since your weight loss journey started, you've put on 300 pounds. It's not about your weight anymore. And I don't know why your whole personality is wrapped around this weight thing. It really is about the fact that you use your weight so that we don't have to pay attention to this terrible attitude and personality that you have. You know what I mean? Like,
yes,
that's
yes.
me. It's just two adults.
No, that's exactly right. It's a shield, it's armor. They totally do that for sure.
I always tell people, for me, the weight is the least of the. I don't care. Be happy however you want to be. Do you? The thing is, when you sit there consistently calling people names, age shaming, ableism, xenophobia, racism, transphobia, homophobia, now I don't care.
Yes.
Now I don't care. So if you can dish it, you should be able to take it. That's always been my policy.
Yeah. And then you want to act like you're a protected class and you are talking like that about everybody. That's what she does. It's crazy. Some of the things that come out of her mouth. I have to laugh because it's just like you don't hear this stuff on the street. I mean, nobody's that stupid, even if they feel that way.
Yeah, right?
I mean, usually not. I mean,
Yeah. Well, I guess we're gonna find out what kind of excuse she comes up with, or I don't know what kind of, I don't know, idea. Where is Nader El Shami? I guess he doesn't really want to give himself away, right? So we'll
well,
have to see.
he has his harem to lose or whatever because his chat hasn't been going too well, has it?
No, it has not, and it's really gave him quite the attitude adjustment I've noticed the past like literal 2 days. It seems like reality is kind of pushing itself in. So he's really
Mm-hmm.
trying to say certain things, especially when people bring up the whole fish stick thing. It's like, you really should know what that really means. I'm like, where was the other Natter from like 3, 4 days ago?
Well, you
Laughing and
know,
carrying on.
that's funny he brought that up because he had dropped the F slur. Okay, and when they called him on it, that's when he switched it to the fish thing. So he wants to act like people are stupid, even if you're not, like, even if that's not like a term somebody knows, fish stick, whatever. If you've been watching and you've seen him drop the literal slurs, I won't forget that.
I was there throwing tomatoes at him. Yeah, he's special.
And
He's
it's
a
funny
special
too.
individual.
Those profiles, and you had them on your stream, and it's funny because I had gone and looked for them, and they were the same. So that makes me think that they are more legit because we found the same ones, and there were pictures on there that hadn't been shown anywhere else. Anyways, he's got everything checked on there. Now, do I care about that? No. But I think he's got some internal hatred there because he's a lot more open, and he has this hatred towards, gay people, basically, LGBTQ, plus. He's got issues with them. But okay, you're going to be open, but then you have these issues. That tells me you have some hatred in there that you haven't resolved. Who knows where it came from? Don't know, don't care. But that tells me a lot.
Right, exactly. Yeah, there's so much to this that we could spend hours on. But maybe we should wrap it up for tonight. It's almost 3 a.m. where I am at. It's almost
Monty, what are you doing?
Right, exactly.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Well.
So I guess Ari Pepperoni, if you want to start it off.
Sure. Okay. Well, thank you for having me on panel again, Monty. It was lovely talking to all of you, the chat. Thank you for listening to my unsolicited opinions. And one last thought for Chantal. No one's buying it, honey. That's all.
Thank you, Ari. Buddha. You're still muted, Buddha. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
Okay, here we go. You can hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now.
Okay. I wasn't saying anything important anyway. Okay, final thoughts. When it comes down to it, these people are all just singing, dancing, crazy people on my computer screen. The best thing about them for me is that when I wake up in the morning, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to find out the latest shenanigans. And I'm not invested, and I'm sure a lot of people aren't necessarily invested. It's just good, juicy tea for us to drink and talk about. And so when you decide to insult us and come for us and claim that we're obsessed with you, we're no more obsessed with you than our favorite TV show, except you're not as interesting characters. However, the plot lines are extra thick because they're real. So understand that our fascination with you is more for us. It's not because you're fascinating, it's because we love to be fascinated. Thank you for having us on the panel tonight, Monty.
Oh, thank you so much, Buddha. Very interesting. Dean YTR, any closing words, thoughts, comments?
Sure. I just want to say something. For someone that says that they don't understand, haters watching you, you sure like to lurk in a lot of places, and you sure find a lot of things interesting on the flip side. And I just find that very curious. And maybe, I mean, I just find that interesting. You know, you claim you don't get it. You claim, how can people watch people they don't like? But here you are, and taking notes too. That's all.
All
Thanks
right,
for
thank
having
you.
me.
Thanks everybody that was on the panel. Eric Pepperoni, Buddha Bitch, our YouTube rejects. We also had Tiger Palm Bambino, Greg Grebo, No Justice, No Peace, and I think, was that it? Am I missing
Ray Ray.
anybody? Yeah, Ray Ray was here as well. Yes, thank you, Ray Ray. All right, and that's it
Good
from
night.
everybody. Take care.
Night.
Have a good one, everybody.
Bye.
Bye bye. See you later.